Right, where's the new Mumble login? Oh, it's mintcast.mintcast.org, isn't it?
The channel details?
Yeah.
Hold on. Bring them up.
Yeah, Joe's good at that.
Bringing it up?
Well, you got me plugged in the last time I needed it.
Oh, you pervert.
That's Provert.
Mumble.mintcast.org. Or you can do mint.mintcast.org as long as the last two parts are mintcast.org.
Yeah. And what's the channel? It's
Mintcast Studio A?
no, the 67 something or whatever, the number.
Oh, it's the standard one for this server. It was non-standard for the HPR server.
What is that standard?
Hold on. Get it up again.
Just so he knows it.
64738.
64738.
Tony, regarding Morrow OS, they officially support the Nexus 5, 5X, and 6P and the Pixel. But from 0.6 onward, they are using raw AOSP, and their base has gone to Lineage OS, which opens them up to much broader hardware support. They haven't officially tested it, but theoretically it can run anything that Lineage OS will run on. They say they're limited in how many devices they have to test it on. And they're testing SlimPort and MHL devices will be giving first priority. That's from their FAQ, Tony.
Sorry? I'm just wondering why you're telling me.
Because you have... Oh, it's Tony Watts. I'm sorry, wrong Tony. It was right above Tony H. about Morrow OS significantly expanding supported devices. It just happened to be under Tony W. It was just... I see Tony H. and I thought, gee, are you sure? So then where is Tony Watts? He should be here by now.
Yeah, he didn't join last night, did he? Leo's here.
That was my phone telling me I have a podcast to do.
About that time?
I've just sent Oliver a message on Telegram, but I've not heard anything back.
Okay, I am going to do what I usually do, which is turn my phone off, so those little things don't come up, just like what Josh's little Siri breaking in the other show.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that happens, doesn't it?
Every now and then, I guess. Tippy tap, tippy tap, tippy tap.
You love it and you know it.
I can't say that I do.
Well, if Tony Watts ever gets here, via the
Hey,
OS code.
I'm not the
Via-
last guy here.
Yeah.
No, Oliver's still not here.
Oh, gee, I can run Lineage on my Moto X4 now.
Oh.
They've got the X 2014 and the X4, the Z and the Z2 Force. Yeah, they've got support for all OnePlus devices except the OnePlus X.
Hey, can someone repost that link that I put into Mumble? The whole thing.
Where do you want it reposting?
Just back into Mumble is fine.
Okay. I got it here, and here, and there.
Perfect.
Oh, you beat me to it.
Too quick. I'm just that good. What can I say? I need to replenish my coffee supply. I'll be right back.
Ah, Swift. He's with us in the IRC.
Very nice.
Is the stream up and running, by the way?
Should be. Go take a look. I got it in the live stream thingamajig as well.
Right.
In the live stream page, I mean.
Yeah. I'll go and have a...
Hey, Oliver's here, and I'm back, and we still don't have a Tony Watts. The live stream is up, I take it?
Check it for me. Yeah.
I'm just checking
I
it
have
now.
never been successful at checking it, so I will let someone else check it.
Well, you can always just click the link and try.
Yeah, uh-huh.
Yeah, live stream's working.
Yeah.
Firecat says, I'm sad I won't get to listen. I leave for work at your start time. I look forward to listening when it goes up later in the week.
Where's that?
IRC?
Aw.
I see that it's working.
Firecat is the guy that sent me all these solid state drives. Although he did not intend to send me so many solid state drives.
He only paid for 2, but
I'm not
Amazon-
sure he hasn't actually come down to state how many he paid for, but he has stated frequently that he did not pay for that many, and he has no idea how Amazon could have mistaken the number he had for a 10.
Right. Well, we've got no one in the live stream chat, so.
Well, I'm just now posting it, so that might be part of it.
Well, it's already posted up on the IRC room.
Cool.
I mean, when you posted it yesterday, I posted it to the IRC room.
You posted the embedded in.
Did I do it wrong?
No, not you.
Oh,
I needed the embedded. But I'm posting just the regular link everywhere else.
oh, okay.
Regular links up on Twitter. Put it in Telegram. It's going in Discord now.
Firecat has been a
Yay!
friend.
Tony's
There's
with us.
Tony.
Hey, Tony.
Now we're just waiting on Oliver.
No, Ollie's here. Isn't he?
Oliver's here.
Hello.
Oh, I didn't see him.
Okay. Well,
Right. Let's get this show on the road.
With 2 minutes to spare.
Mr.
we've-
Watts.
No. We've still got to do our audio yet.
Yeah, we got.
Oh,
I
yeah.
haven't even started my Audacity. That one, yeah. Mr. Watts.
My audio and mumble sound alright?
Oh yeah,
Ooh,
Yeah.
that sound better.
that's much better.
Cool.
Using your
What
new
did
mic.
you do?
This is my old one, my headset one.
Oh, right. Okay.
Tony Watts.
Yeah,
What's
we're
that?
Your prediction is kind of lame, as in Maru OS already allows the use of the entire Lineage OS code.
Ooh, got called lame. What are you gonna do about that?
It
Right.
already allows the entire what? I didn't hear the last part of what you said, but
The entire use of all Lineage OS code, which includes all the OnePlus phones. They
Yeah,
haven't,
well, it won't
they
be
haven't
wrong.
tested it. It's not official, but you can use it. They just don't have the devices to test, so they don't list it as official.
Sounds like he's making a good call then.
It sounds like he's
Yeah, but
it's
they
like saying the
have
sun's going to come up
somebody
tomorrow.
That's a good prediction.
Well, yes, but somebody has to take the Lineage phone and modify it to include Maru OS. There is work that has to be done to make that happen.
Okay. That's not how I
And
understood it
think
listening
will
to the
happen
Maru
for a
OS
Node
guy
device,
talking.
and I think it's going to
Okay. It's
What's
8
that?
o'clock.
Garbage.
We haven't got time for an argument.
Well, leave
Tony's
that
audio
argument
sounds
for
a
the
little
innards.
rough.
No, we do have time for it,
Yeah.
but that's what we call a show. Let's do it there.
Yeah.
Bingo.
Tony Watts, your audio sounds a little rough.
What?
Your
Yeah,
audio's
the audio for Mumble is going to sound rough, but Audacity will. I'm actually recording into 2 different headsets, one for Mumble, which is going to be bad, and the Audacity one is going to be fine.
cool.
Okay. Okay, my Audacity is ready to go.
So's mine.
Yep.
Tony,
Yep,
yours is
likewise.
always ready to go. Okay, I need to calm myself down here.
How do we do this again?
When we're ready, when everyone's ready, bring up your Audacity, save the job just in case Audacity crashes. It just makes it easier for you to bring it back up. So save it as mintCast episode 325 and then your name to somewhere convenient on your computer.
Save it to the cloud.
Yeah.
There is no cloud, only someone else's computer.
This is correct.
It certainly is. And most of them belong to Google.
I mean, unless someday we actually get into broadcasting up into the magnetic cloud that surrounds the Earth. Okay, and then after you've done all that, Oliver, then you hit the pause and the record.
Or you can just wait until I say record and then hit record.
Well, if you hit the pause and record, then all you have to do is hit the pause button again and you're recording.
Yeah.
Well, how's that any different than just hitting the record button?
Well, when you just hit the record button, sometimes it doesn't go. That's all. I was talking about that last time or the time before. I don't know. It's recent.
Yeah, when you hit the pause button, it works.
No, it didn't with me last time. That's what I'm saying. Last time I got the opposite. I tried to restart it off pause.
At any rate, to finish the instruction, Tony will then give us a 3210 and we will say nothing with our microphones open for 20 to 25 seconds. That way we can do better noise reduction later.
No, I won't say 3210. I'll say 321 record.
Well, something like that. And then after that, we do. Tony does a 3210, and we all say 0 at the same time, and we do that for synchronization.
Yeah, correct.
Cool.
And then Leo gets the nice job of linking it all together.
It'll be fun.
Leo's doing the editing this time?
Yeah.
Sounds
Unless
like
you're
it.
volunteering, Joe.
No, I'm not. I'm on vacation.
Well, there's only 6 of us today.
Only.
No Bo.
When's Bo coming back?
We got no Bo and we got no Josh.
Somebody needs to go chew out Bo and tell him to come back.
That would be 8, man. Jeez. We would never end the show.
That'd be more than we started off with when we first started doing it with David here.
Okay, I got it. HPR did this like 24-hour thing, right? Where people just kept coming on and signing off.
They're doing that.
The New Year's Eve,
the 30th,
New Year's
yeah.
Day.
Oh yeah, see, so we
31st.
could just make the mintcast that way for like ever, like every day.
Just leave
All
an
day,
open
every
channel.
day.
Yeah.
Who's going to stream it?
That's it for the whole community or something like that, right?
Then everyone will know how to get into our Mumble.
That's
No, we'll just use the
make
HPR
a
one.
public one.
Yeah.
Or HPR.
The HPR mintcast room, you mean?
Bear with me for 2 seconds.
You are
All right,
being born.
46. 42.
All right. Oh, we're waiting on
Oliver again. So I've still got an echo from someone.
Is it
Ain't
me?
this time. Ooh, I got
Sounds
an echo
like
now,
Leo.
too.
Yeah.
It ain't. Oh,
It's
I
me.
was the echo, but I'm not causing the echo.
I'm in a very echoey room.
Ah, right. Okay.
I do have a headset, so it's not like I'm using a freestanding mic or anything, but there isn't anything I can do about it.
Okay.
I'm back.
Get some duct tape and like really seal those headphone cups.
To my head.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, you're a podcaster. You don't ever need to take them off.
I'll dial back my output volume and see if that helps any. All right, now somebody needs to be talking while my mic is open. So
Hello.
Test.
Test.
I can hear me a little bit. Oh, I can hear Tony a little bit.
Oh, okay. Well, is it better?
Honestly, I didn't take note how bad it was before.
I can still hear something in the background. We'll just have to go with it.
Okay.
Hang on, test it one more time. This way I can
Open.
see.
Yeah, let me mute this time and see if it.
Open.
Okay. I can't. Can
All
you
right,
hear
let's-
anything echoing?
Open her up, Joe. There we go. Ah, maybe it was Tony.
Hold on. I'll hold it
Can we
open with the
try-
key this
I
time.
muted
Go
for
ahead and
that
talk.
test. Can we try?
Test it again. What? Ooh, no. Joe's little head popped up. I think it's Joe.
Yeah, I'm holding down the button now to see. So if somebody else
yep.
could talk, we'll find out if there's an echo from it.
Testing,
That's
testing.
the one
1,
I
2,
think I-
3.
Test.
Test.
Yeah.
Okay, one more thing I can do. I'm going to turn down the gain on my mic a little bit. I see it's maxing out every now and again, so that should help.
Yeah, definitely. That'll make the final product a little better too.
Okay.
If you target for like -6 or whatever, I can bump you up in post, and it sounds just as good.
How is it now?
No,
Talk.
I can't hear anything just at this second, but it sounds all right. Nothing's coming back.
Okay. Yeah, and I'm not maxing out anymore. I think my max, if I talk loudly, is coming out as -12 dB. Should I turn it back
Okay.
up?
But you can give it just a little bit more if you want,
Test.
and it'll only be in the
Test.
There you go. I didn't hear me. I'm not hearing me. Me.
I'm not.
Me.
I'm not
Oh, a
hearing
little bit.
anything.
Just
Okay,
a tiny
I
bit,
think-
but I think it's manageable.
Yeah. Even if I talk loud, it's still going to like -9, so that should be about right then.
I think
Right.
that'll do
Okay.
you.
Okay. Right. Shall we get this show on the road? Is everyone ready? Oh.
We're only 8 minutes
Yeah.
late, guys. That means we're early.
Okay. Oh, I bet I'm going to start the mumble recording.
Lowered expectations.
See, if you don't have any expectations in the first place, then they can't lower.
Let me start the mumble recording. Okay. Right. Mumble recording is started. Let's back up.
Woo woo.
And right. Okay. Audacity. Everyone ready to press the button?
Yep.
And do the 20,
Press the
25,
button.
20, 25 seconds of silence. 3.
Yep.
3, 2, 1, record.
Wasn't able to get recording that time. Bear with me just a second. I have to figure out why. Sorry.
Should we start
over
again?
then.
Start all the way over?
Yeah, let me.
We'll start again.
Okay, here we go.
All right, I'm going to get rid of all my... Yeah, clear your track. Do a new track.
Back to 0.
Are we ready now?
I'm ready.
Yeah.
Okay, everyone ready? Leo, you're
Yep.
ready. Joe's ready. Moss, you ready? Yeah. And Tony W, you're ready. And Oliver.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
3, 2, 1, record. Okay.
All right.
So we do the 3, 2, 1, 0 to line the tracks up. Is everyone ready for that?
Yep.
3, 2, 1, 0.
Zero.
0.
Oh, excuse me. I thought I muted. Oh, my mute button's not working. Oh no. Oh wait, no, I know why. Hey, it's working now.
Mine's working.
Mine works.
Yeah, that was good.
Okay, over to
Had
you,
function
Leo.
lock on. It just
I
let
kind
loose,
of want to
man.
do the editing so that I can take that snippet and like it in random spots throughout the entire show.
I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna put it in Drive just for you, Joe.
Awesome. We'll put it in the next show.
I've got it on Mumble.
So I've been meaning to get into this. I have an Akai little. It's got like 8 pads for sounds and a piano and stuff. I've been meaning to actually get that set up as like a soundboard and then hook it up to this Behringer UM2 thing. I just haven't had the time to do it, and I think maybe this next week I'll be able to get that done. So I'll map that to like the main key.
I occasionally go and look at the prices on those script keyboards where you can just program everything that keyboard does, and they're just too expensive.
Yeah,
for one with
this
like
was
15 keys.
Yeah, this one was like 99, but I bought it a long time ago, and I just dusted it off the other day, and it still works. So I've just been poking around with it. It works in Windows, but you have to jump through some hoops to get it to work in Linux, I guess.
That's okay.
I just
like
haven't
jumping
done
through
that
hoops.
yet. Yeah, I don't mind. But LMMS, I think, is one of the ones, and then there were a couple others. But we'll talk about that later. Anyway. So are we good? Everybody ready?
Aye.
Yep.
All right.
Go to the top of the show notes.
Tip top. Welcome to mintCast episode 325. Welcome to mintCast episode 325.5. Livestream information is at mintcast.org/livestream. We're in the mintCast channel in IRC at irc.spotchat.org. If you see something that you'd like to hear about, tell us. Send us email at mintcast@mintcast.org. Join us on MeWe. In the mintCast subreddit, chat with us on Telegram, Discord, or post directly at mintcast.org. This is Leo, and with me today is Tony Hughes.
Hi guys, Merry Christmas. Oops, that's gone.
A little late. Joe.
Hello?
Moss. Maybe Moss?
Moss?
Moss is coming. I know he's coming. He's right there. Okay, we'll come back to Moss. Tony Watts.
Hey.
Moss is here. Do you not hear Moss?
There's Moss.
Oh, okay.
And the return of Oliver Kelly.
Hi, guys.
And we're recording live Sunday, December 29th, 2019. First up in our wanderings, I bake a camera pie. Tony Watts gets steamed. Joe gets an unexpected upgrade. Tony Hughes installed Lineage on a new old phone. Moss has an XApp mishap. And Oliver treats his ears. Then in our news, Linux Mint 19.3 is here. Vivaldi champions Linux, DXVK forges ahead, and more. In security, we talk Chrome flaws and the risks of Ring. In our innard section, we make our 2020 predictions. And finally, our listener feedback. In this last fortnight, I finally got the chance to upgrade to 19.3. I say finally, but it was like 2 days after it was released, so I didn't wait too long. And no issues so far. Everything is working exactly as I expect it to. So, yeah, and this is on both my desktop and my laptop. I did also upgrade to 19.3 a VM that's running Mate. I've been running that. That VM's got to be over a year old now. So it's just chugging along. I did, I think I started with 19.0 on that machine. and upgraded every single time something's come out. And not a single issue with any of them. I think we've finally hit rock solid with this not having to think about clicking the button. You just click the button and you get new features. Yay! So that all went well. And I've also been working. I've had this Raspberry Pi Zero W sitting on my desk for a long time. I think it's back since the summer. I've had it since July, maybe late July, early August. And I finally got the Pi camera to go with it. The whole purpose of that thing was so that I could have essentially a Ring doorbell, but not owned by Amazon. And I want it to be a front door motion detector, but I'm trying to do it the hard way. There is an operating system out there called Motion Eye, I believe is the name of it. And it is a one-stop shop. It's kind of like Pi-hole. It just has all the things that you would ever need to do the motion detection, camera, send me a picture, whatever kind of stuff. So it's really nice. It's already full-featured. It's already there. But there is already a motion package inside of the Raspbian image. So I wanted to stay as close to Raspbian as I possibly could for a good reason. In the security section, we're going to talk about the Ring doorbell and why you don't want one of those, or why you at least need to think really hard about getting one of those. And to sidestep a lot of those issues, I just wanted to roll my own and put it behind my own security. And at least if I messed up, it's my fault. It's not the fault of some other company that I've agreed to sell my soul to, right? It's just me. So I installed Motion, and my God, the configuration file for Motion is insanely huge. There's a feature for everything. Send a picture, send a video, stop a picture, stop a video, start a picture, start a video. Do you want to set up the HTML live stream thing? And so I've been toying with all of those. So right now it's set up to just continuously live stream. If you want to see what's going on, you can log into the thing, and at 1 frame per second, you can watch the live feed from that video, and it's really, really cool. I would go higher than that, like 2 or 5 or 10 frames per second, but it seems like 1 frame per second is already pinning the CPU at 100% on that little Raspberry Pi. So this is just a Pi Zero, so the equivalent of a Pi 1, I think it is, chip-wise. So it's not the fastest thing in the world, but it gets the job done. So I would be able to see what's going on in my front yard if I just log into the thing. So VPN in, log into the thing. No authentication right now. I'm not going to do authentication until I can figure out how to put HTTPS on that thing. So we'll see how it goes, but so far so good. I'm very impressed with the hardware. I got the official Raspberry Pi case for the Pi Zero W because it comes with 3 different lids. I guess there's a solid lid, there's a lid for the GPIO access, and then there's a lid specifically for the camera. So the camera pops in, you just point it in the direction that you want it to. I'm using Velcro on right above my door and just kind of like angling it downward just a little bit so I don't catch the street, but I catch anybody in my front yard. That way it doesn't, once I get the motion detection stuff working, it doesn't ping me anytime a car drives by. Either way, so far so good. Getting it to the point that I've got it now was insanely easy. I think there were 3 config lines I needed to change. It's apt install Motion, and then change 3 config lines, and then enable the service. That was pretty much it. There's one, oh no, I take that back. There's one thing that you have to do to the camera. You've got to mod probe enable a device driver to get the camera to work. I guess in that Motion package, the Pi cameras are special. So you've got to turn on the driver for those, and then they'll behave. So yeah, 4 things and easy peasy. So that's been about it. I think I'm probably going to report back the next time and let you guys know how the Motion went on all of that. But so far so good. Live stream is a go.
I had
Tony Watts
set up on
what's that?
a Pi 3. The exact same setup, yeah.
Awesome. So do you have the motion detection going?
Yeah, I had to use the Motion-MMAL package because it was the ribbon cable one with the no IR with the infrared lights on it, and I used it as a baby cam.
Oh, very cool. Yeah, so that's probably what I'm going to have to do. Did you ever do a write-up of any of that?
I didn't. I was going to, and I had all my configs saved somewhere, and I can't find them.
Oh,
I
that's
had it
funny.
set up for everything, for email, ping me an email when a motion was detected. It saved all the motion frames in a file somewhere, so I could see them later. Because obviously with setting it up as a baby cam, I wanted to see when she was moving throughout the night to see what time she was not settled. So
Very cool. So yeah, I mean, it's going to be the same exact kind of situation that I'm in, except minus the baby and plus porch pirate. I guess I don't know. There's been a lot of reports of that kind of thing. Not around my area, but I don't know. I just hear a lot about it. But anyway, yeah, very cool. And I don't mind doing things the hard way. So I've literally just been going through that config file one line by one line and just reading everything I can about it. I feel like I get a better understanding of what's really happening behind the scenes if I do that. But yeah, interesting, cool. So if I run into some impassable issue, I may hit you up on this.
yeah, definitely. I mean, I think I had mine set to there was a 720p stream, 30 FPS, and it was maxing out the Pi 3 on the one core completely pegged on it. But then I got it to go down to 12 FPS when no motion, and then peak to 30 when it detected motion. And now the motion detection is a bit tricky because you've got take the sum of all your pixels, so whatever your resolution, and then you've got to do a ratio of that to work out how much of them pixels need to change for motion to be detected.
Oh, gotcha. So it won't trigger on a squirrel, but it will trigger on a human.
Yeah, so if you've got 1,000 by 1,000 frame, and then you set your motion detection to only 1,000, then it's only going to pick up one slither or something, and it won't do anything. So you'll need to set to 8,000, and it'll pick up something.
Got it. All right. Well, this is going to be useful for me when I start digging into the motion stuff. So awesome. Thank you. And Tony Watts, what do you got for us this fortnight?
Well, I've been traveling days, so I messed around with a travel recording solution to try to get that, and came up with a really good solution, and ended up completely abandoning it. I have a very small car and just wanted to travel as light as I could. I have a recording interface USB that was a PreSonus box, and by the time I had that and a small boom stand for a microphone and all that stuff, it just seemed like too much to pack with. So audio does not sound very good today, and I know it doesn't. I'm actually, for reasons, using two headsets, one to record the Audacity with on one machine, and then I'm using a pair of those small true wireless earbuds to talk to you guys on Mumble with. So that probably doesn't sound very good, but the recording should still be okay. Let's see, some other things dabbling around with. I learned some interesting things about installing Linux Mint, or the same would apply to Ubuntu, I guess, onto a machine that has secure boot. If you don't want to disable secure boot, that gets a little interesting. You can install alongside a Windows computer without disabling secure boot, and secure boot trusts Ubuntu and in turn Linux Mint, but the sacrifice you have to make there is you don't get the Wi-Fi and graphics drivers and all of that, the proprietary stuff. You're using, I believe, the open source drivers. And because secure boot is enabled on the machine I tested with, what actually happens is an Ubuntu option gets added into the system BIOS, and that's used for the boot. So that was kind of interesting, just something that I learned that I didn't know before. Just wanted to pass that on. Another weird thing with that I did notice, though, is for some reason, I was doing this on a Windows machine. For some reason, when I would boot into Ubuntu, when I would go back into Windows, the time was off. It was 5 hours ahead for GMT. I don't know why. That was something I just had to manually change. I created a persistent live Linux Mint USB. That was something I meant to a long time ago, just to have a live USB that just kind of has all of the tools that I use in it that I can boot any computer with. So I did that too, and that's quite handy. Just has Audacity and Mumble and all that kind of good stuff on it. I updated to Linux Mint 19.3 on multiple machines. No problems at all. I guess the only oddity I noticed is on the Dell tablet, the logo didn't change. It's still the old logo for some reason at the bottom left of the task tray. Somebody else may have mentioned that previously in their updates, but that was the only thing I noticed. Otherwise, smooth sailing. Got a couple of small little gadgets to play with from the holidays. I got that tablet cover for the Venue Pro, Joe, that we kind of talked about a little bit. And I guess what the conclusion I've come to is whether it's that or whether it's the other keyboard, same problems with detection, just very finicky with the keyboard and trackpad connecting and staying connected and able to kind of continuously be used. I'm not really sure why that is, but what I did find is if I switch from one kind of keyboard to another, it would detect on the first try. So that's, I guess, useful, but it is very nice. It has a couple of options that were lacking in the other kind of keyboard. That hand is a little bit limited, so with the tablet cover, it's nice. You can kind of get whatever angle you want, of course. Obviously, it's a whole lot lighter. You just have to take a trade that it, of course, doesn't have a battery in it to add that battery life to the tablet. Last thing I guess I'll end on is I bought some Steam games, and they're trying to do that through January 2nd, I believe, is when the sale ends. So this show should be out right around then. Hearing this, and it's past January 2nd yet. There's still a really good Steam game sale going on. I bought a few games. I bought Need for Speed Hot Pursuit for like $5, a really fun game. And I bought a Valve game pack that has a lot of the classic stuff, both of the Portal games, 1 and 2, and a bunch of other Half-Life stuff in it, loads of Counter-Strike games. Those sales are still out there if you're interested in checking it out. I think that's it for me. What have you been up to, Joe?
Well, traveling again. So my reading choices and projects have been kind of limited because of that. For reading while driving long distances, I usually want something familiar. So I listen to the Mercy Thompson books because it's interesting, but if I miss a portion because I'm busy paying attention to driving, then it's not that big a deal. After the Mercy Thompson series, I also went through the Alpha Omega series by the same author in the same universe. Next, I listened to Harlequin novels. I finished the first set of the 3 series for that one, and I will eventually listen to the second series on that. I don't have the 3rd series yet, and when it becomes available to me, I'll probably pick that up too. See, last show, right before the show, the plastic broke on one of my Air Force Z2s. I'm going to give fixing it a try. I was going to do it with the glue that Tony H suggested and see how well that worked. Never had any luck fixing that type of headphone band. But instead, what I've decided to do is I ordered a similar pair of, headset. It's just the replacement parts, the band and the connectors, wire that runs through it. So I should either be able to do a full replacement or, with the hinges being exactly the same, just move the modules over from Z2 over to the new headset, and I'll let you all know how that goes. I installed 19.3 on all my machines through the update manager. It was very simple. I haven't seen much of a difference, and I still have not upgraded any of my kernels past 5.0. I did set up a remote workstation at the in-laws where I'm visiting. I'm kind of in a bit of a cupboard, which is why the acoustics are very different for me. It's a little echoey. It's a nice setup. I've got my 17-inch laptop. I've got my other set of Z2s on, and it's working out pretty well. Now, I think on the last show, I had mentioned that I had ordered a 7130, another 7130 that was supposed to be broken for $40. It turned out to be a 7140 instead. I hooked it up to the proper charger, gave it a couple of minutes, and it fired right up. It is the 8 gigabyte model, which makes it the top end model. I did have to also put my spare SSD from my 7130 into it, the 32 gigabyte that I had originally ordered that I ended up replacing with a 128. Everything worked right out of the box, including Wi-Fi. I was kind of surprised by that. It just worked. Now, two of the issues that I have come across is audio from the 3.5 millimeter port will only come out as mono, and the mic doesn't work at all. That's easily fixed with a USB sound card, and that's what I'll do when I'm using one of the 2 tablets that I have for like podcasting or something like that. Now, the 7140 has another major-ish problem where it cannot suspend to RAM, and it has that exact same problem in Windows as well, so it's not just a Linux thing. And I'm working on alternatives for that. Freeze seems to work okay. I'm also working on suspended disk instead of suspended RAM. I haven't had that much luck. I'm still working on that.
Hey, Joe.
And yeah.
You were saying you've got a 17-inch you're using right now. What model are you using?
Oh, my MSI 72 6QD.
Okay. That was one that you kind of recommended to me back when I was still looking for a 17-inch.
Right, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
And then when I did the upgrade to 19.3 on the 7140, the touchpad quit working, but the same didn't happen on the 7130. I thought that I would have to do a full reinstall to clear the issue. But I didn't do that. I did some searching around on the internet, and even the live disk was having a problem running the touchpad. So I rebooted back into 19.3 and did a sudo depmod space-a, and that seemed to clear the issue up after a reboot. I was thinking that I would either need to go back to the 4.15 kernel or go back to Mint 19.2, but I'm very glad that fix worked. Battery life is still not that great, and it's definitely not all-day use, but it is slightly better than the 7130. And it is silent, which is a big difference between that and the 7130. There are no fans because it's the Core M processor instead of the i5 processor. And that is a big difference. And the only other problem that I found isn't in regards to the tablet itself. It's in regard to that 32 gigabyte NGFF drive that I have in it. I might find a replacement for that. It's just really slow reads and writes. I mean, it takes a minute or two to load a video. So if I end up keeping it instead of selling it, I will definitely replace that. But I am considering selling it just to, fund other projects. Yeah, I paid $40 for it, but the average price on eBay for a tablet in this condition, that's the 8 gigabyte model with the Core M processor, is between like $130 and $140, somewhere in that range. That could fund a couple of other projects. I also picked up a Waveshare game hat Sun for Christmas. Now, this turns a Raspberry Pi into a handheld retro gaming system. So I also gave my son the last Raspberry Pi 3B Plus because I couldn't find any of my 2s. It works pretty well. It just used the image from the Waveshare site that contains RetroPie and with all the drivers for the controls already on it. You don't need drivers for the display because the display is actually HDMI. The games that come with the image are pretty good. It's got Neo Geo games on it, Nintendo games on it, already built in. I couldn't use the 16 gigabyte micro SD card that I had on hand because the image was too large, so I pulled one of the 128 gigabyte micro SD cards out of my tablet, and I'll need to replace that when I get home. The device also needed an 18650 battery, which is a slightly oddball, I guess, unless you vape, because a lot of the mods use that type of battery. So I had some lying around. Battery life is not that good, hour and a half at best. And the battery, once you get everything put together, it's actually really difficult to replace the battery. You have to unscrew the entire back to be able to switch it out. So it having a replaceable battery isn't all that useful. Moving on from that, I'm going to convert some more of my old LG headsets that no longer work over to MMCX, which is the modular headphones. I ordered some parts to do that, and I already mentioned ordering the replacements for the Z2s, and I hopefully get to be on this year's HPR New Year's show, depending on how busy I get. That's really all I got. Tony Hughes, what have you been up to?
Well, as everyone knows, Christmas has kind of come and gone and got in the way a little bit, but I decided I was going to put Ubuntu Studio 1910 on the test laptop for reviewing for the February's Distro Hoppers show, but I've not had an awful lot of time to play with it yet. I've installed it on one of the Dell E744Os that I've got. I've got two, one's an i7 and one's an i5, and I've installed it on the i7 as a triple boot with Mint and Windows, and install went brilliant, so that was great. I also updated that particular laptop to Mint 19.3 on that partition as well, as I've done with all my other laptops and my tower that are running Mint. As everyone else has said, that's gone really smoothly. I've not spotted any problems at all so far. Keep my fingers crossed.
Hey, Tony, did
Yeah?
Studio include Kden Live?
I haven't had a look yet, so I'll report back on that at a later date.
Well, I installed the Ubuntu Studio plugin to my Ubuntu Budgie, and it did not. In fact, the Kden Live install by itself was like 3 times the size of
so
the
I'm
rest of the
assuming it probably
studio.
doesn't then.
Well, it's a bigger distro, so if you get it all as a distro, maybe it does include that.
Yeah,
but let me know.
Yeah, I will do. So, as it was Christmas, I've also got a couple of geeky presents. Santa bought me a 4-bay IT dock. The nice little metal one as well, the good quality one that doesn't fall a bit apart after you've taken a drive in and out of it about 3 times. So I'm still not quite sure whether to install it on this current tower or to wait until I decide whether I'm going to buy myself a new Ryzen or not. But so I might leave it for a couple of weeks and until I've made the decision. If I order a new tower, then I'll just wait until that arrives and stick it in. But that's going to make life so much easier for testing out distros and stuff, because I'll have access to 4 bays and I've got a few spare SSDs knocking about. I'll just be able to swap them in and out whenever I want. So that's nice. Just before Christmas, we also went up to Scotland for a few days. Drove home on Christmas Eve and did the usual stuff. It was just the 2 of us for Christmas, so I've probably overeaten like many people over the holiday period, but hey, it is the holidays and it's only once a year. And I've been continuing to play around with the new hobby. Santa also brought me a Christmas present of a Matchbox collector's book the original wheels from 1953 to 1969. So I've been geeking out over that and checking off the ones I've already got. So that's been interesting. I've also been signing up to various Facebook groups for the various diecasts. So I've been playing around on there as well, posting a few photos. And then for me, wife's Christmas present, I treated her to a new phone. I got her a Nokia 6.2. But she'd been running my old OnePlus One, which I'd flashed to Lineage a while back. Gave it her in February of this year after updating it to Lineage 16. But unfortunately, I left it a little bit too long in between flashing the nightlies for the updates, and it stopped taking the over-the-air update. So it hadn't been updated for a few months. But when I got it back off her, I did a manual update to the latest Lineage image, and now it's back to working perfectly. I've just done the over-the-air update for the nightly build from last night, and it worked fine. So, yeah, I can report that Lineage works really well on the OnePlus One still. So if anyone's got one of those kicking around and they want to bring it back to life and have a secure OS on it, the only disadvantage with the OnePlus One here in the UK is it doesn't have 4G aerial for the O2 network. So if you're running it on either O2 or giffgaff, which runs on the O2 network, then you won't have the benefit of 4G. But if you run it on any of the other networks, it's fine. And OEE and all the other major networks seem to be supported by it for 4G. But yeah, it's a nice little phone. So unless anyone's got any questions, I'll hand over to Moss.
Yep, that one.
Go on.
Well, I kind of had a question. Did
phone
you consider... Go ahead.
Yeah. Sorry, I was just going to say if you have a 1.1, you don't want to let that go for a couple of reasons. I believe that one runs Plasma Mobile and UV ports as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and that was going to be my question. So, did you ever consider UV ports as an option on that?
I haven't. No, I've stuck with the old friendly user interface of Lineage because it's very familiar. You stick the G apps on it, and it's a Google phone under any other name, really.
Very cool. Yeah, no shame in that for sure.
But yeah, it's still a cracking phone. I know it's 3 or 4 years old now, but it's still a cracking phone and you can pick them up for in this country for about 80 to 100 quid.
Really, it's that young? I thought it was older than that.
No, I think it may be a little bit older. I know I didn't get mine until it had been out a few months, so it may be a little bit older than that, but it's not that old.
Wow. Yeah, I don't know. I totally lose touch with how old some things are.
Yeah. They did skip 1 or 2 numbers in the. I don't think there was ever a OnePlus 4. They went OnePlus 2, OnePlus 3, and then they went to OnePlus 5.
Wikipedia says it was manufactured in April 2014.
Oh, right. Oh, it's older than I thought then.
Wow.
But it's still a cracking phone.
Yeah, if it works, it works. That's awesome.
Yeah. And like you say, you can pick up good condition ones for 80, 90 pounds here in the UK, probably a similar price in dollars in the States. So Moss, what have you got for us?
Well, gee, let's see here. I received a gift from an old friend. It was supposed to be a couple of 256 gigabyte SSDs, but Amazon messed up and sent me a whole box of 10. They're Lexar NS100s. I can accept those kind of mistakes any day. I've converted the main drives on my Kudu 3 and my wife's T430 to the SSDs, while keeping the Galago Pro as it was, which it has a 1 terabyte spinning metal drive and a 128 gigabyte M2. And then I also converted my external drives and my timeship drive to SSD. So the
What he's forgetting to mention is that he's planning on sending us all SSDs.
Oh, absolutely.
Ooh, Christmas.
I only have 4 left, guys. I think we got more team members than that. And shipping to Tony Hughes would be a bit much.
Well, you gotta walk it over to him. You just walk it.
I'll just swim, yeah. Anyhow, the only drive that I only have 2 spinning metal drives still running. One is the internal 1 terabyte in my Galago Pro, and the other is my 2 terabyte external drive that I have hooked up to the Galago Pro. This also gives me a stack of spinning metal drives to use as paperweights or to sell on Letgo, Craigslist, or eBay. I just finished getting them all posted to Letgo. I haven't posted anywhere else yet. I also installed Zorin OS 15 Ultimate on my wife's T430 as she'd been reporting issues and preferred a new install to upgrading her Linux Mint install. And between the SSD speed and the new distro, she's quite happy. She's had to learn a few things about how Zorin does various setup and display things differently than Mint. Who'd have thunk the workspace switcher would be on the super key? I replaced the drive in the T430 I have for sale with an SSD. I think I have a buyer for it from one of our listeners, and have finally posted the idea pad on eBay. I have 4 unused SSDs at present, and no, I'm not sending them out to you. Now, Joe has sent me a few things. If you really want one, I'll send you one.
No, I'm good. But thank you.
Okay. I upgraded my Mint Mate machine to Tricia 19.3 and it works all right, but my icons on the bottom right, which are not system icons such as Molvat and Discord, show as double to tiny icons rather than a single icon the size of the others. Telegram has a single tiny icon covered by the number of current unread messages. Leo gave me a fix for this earlier today, which is to install the XApp status applet, and it does work, but... We'll get around to that later, maybe. I installed Mint Cinnamon also on my SSD in the Galago Pro, and it does not have this issue. That's a clean install. Also, when I minimize Firefox, Mint actually closes it, although it doesn't log me out of Google, so if I open it up again, I get all new windows, but I'm still logged into Google. In further observations, Tricia Mate, can't talk again. Tricia Mate still shows the icon of the program opened in a workspace. Tricia Cinnamon just shows a lighter shade of gray for the active workspace with no icon in it. After experiencing a few too many issues with Q4 OS and not getting responses I was happy with, I installed KDE Neon on that partition, had to have some plasma on my machine. It makes for a nicer boot menu with the exception of only showing the top 5 choices. You have to scroll down to see the others, and there's nothing on the screen to indicate that there are any down there. I just accidentally scrolled down and hey, they're still there. It also keeps me having a KDE install on my main machine. After installing Mint Cinnamon, I got to see the new Mint menus, and they are almost as sharp as Plasma, and they don't need the scrolling. This frees up the Kudu 3 for something new, and right now I am toying with the Russian-developed Gen 2-based Calculate Linux in the LXQT flavor. The installation offered a lot more options than I'm used to, but unlike Fedora and SUSE installation attempts, the language was simple and easy to understand. It looks as though I'll need to learn the Portage Package Manager to get any updates done, though. With Sabayon, I only had to learn the aptitude-like Entropy Package Manager. I have a ways to go on learning this one, and somehow I managed to get my user account installed without sudo privileges. That may require a reinstall, I don't know yet. Playing with Sabayon and Calculate have given me a tiny glimpse into the world of Linux as seen by Arch users, well, Gentoo users anyhow. The amount of configuration and control made available when you're doing more than just a generic plug-and-play installation makes me want to try a Void challenge or something. I can hear the team going, ooh, in the background.
Ooh.
See, Leo always can step in with the right. Anyhow, I thought I was going to get a better job, but I failed the physical, including learning about an issue of which I was not previously aware. I could jump through more hoops and maybe qualify, but it was still a disappointment. My wife and I have started reading the first book in the Dresden Files. For the moment, we stopped reading Empire of Jade, Temeraire, and have started reading the first Jim Butcher story. Not sure how much we like it yet, but it's holding our interest, wondering where it's going. I heard that ooh from Joe. We will, of course, return to Temeraire probably after we finish this book. We got a deal on the Kindle version, only $2.99, but the rest of the series is $5.99 to $6.99 each. If this keeps up, we're going to have to subscribe to Kindle Unlimited.
Yeah, let me know what you think about the first book. I mean, I really enjoy it, so...
We sure will. I will be absent next episode as I'm going to my annual family reunion / music gathering in Atlanta. If Bo or Tony wants to join me there, we could set up for the podcast. Otherwise, I'll be too involved in having fun. There will be videos. I take the blame for Oliver Kelly being here this episode. I wrote up the blank show notes listing everyone who might possibly be here, and another team member, that's you, Tony Hughes, thought he had volunteered, so he did. Take it from here, Olsey.
Thanks, Mars. Yeah, so I was struggling to come up with things that I've done since last being on, but I also installed Mint 19.3. I did it as soon as I saw the blog post come up on how to do it. Not that it's a hard process anymore. It's I've noticed it's been a lot easier to do since when I started Linux last year, going from like 18.3 to 19 and then 19.1 to this one seems so easy. I did really enjoy the new logo, but mine didn't change when I upgraded, so I went in and configured it and picked the new icon. But I went and picked the Linux Mint logo ring symbolic. Yeah, I do like the shape of the new logo. It fits a lot better.
There was a bunch of controversy about it, and I really don't know why, other than, it's not leafy. And I admitted this on a previous show, but I didn't know it was a leaf. So I'm not too worked up about it. I love the new one.
And with Christmas coming around, I got some new goodies. I got some new headphones that my wife got me. A pair of Behringer DT770 Pros. They're closed back headphones and the sound quality is amazing. And they've got really, really soft velour earpads, and you can wear them for hours.
Those are some high-end headphones right there.
Yeah, those are studio quality, like not just marketing studio quality. They're actually studio quality.
Yep, they're good, really, really good. I've been downloading some FLAC files and playing them and comparing it against some other stuff that I've got, and you can hear a world of difference between that set of headphones and my... when did I get these? It's the SteelSeries neck bands, which I must have gotten about 2009, 2010. So they've been a good pair of headphones, they've lasted, but the sound different, the quality is just insane. There's no new mic. I'm still looking to buy myself that as a late Christmas present from me to me, but hopefully my audio next time on will be a lot better.
Yeah, we were talking about that. I guess it was yesterday. Yeah, just kind of looking through a bunch of different kinds. I've got some wish list microphones as well, so I'm excited to see what you come up with, and excited to see how that affects the quality of everything.
Well, you still sound a lot better than you did the last time you were on the show.
Yeah, yesterday I was using my...
Shots fired!
Oh, yeah, I was using my webcam microphone, the built-in one that... It's like a USB webcam with a microphone built in, and it's not great, but it does the job in a push. But I'm currently using the headset mic that seems to be working well-ish.
What's funny about that is I think we'll be able to go back to all of Oliver's appearances on the show and then extract a little bit of the audio out of each of them and be like, this is the journey into sound, and just get better and better and better with it.
Heck, you could do that just with our first few episodes.
I know you could. Yeah, you can definitely.
Joe Ressington has stopped complaining even.
Hey!
Yeah, I've got a few ideas for the microphone. I want to get. I'll post some links in the show notes to some of the several ones I've been looking at. One of them's XLR and USB, so it's like all around. Can take it and plug it into an interface, or you can travel with it and just USB microphone. So that's all sub £100 sort of stuff, because 2 kids, no one's got money these days for that.
Let me ask something here. I've been looking at a new microphone, even though I've got a nice one now. Is there a difference between a mic that is USB and a mic that plugs into your microphone jack in terms of quality?
It depends.
USB is usually better, but
Yeah.
the 3.5 millimeter, you can kind of correct the issues with that by using a USB sound card.
The main
Okay.
issue with the 3.5mm is because it's on your motherboard. If your motherboard's not got very good power delivery, then you'll pick up some of the noise from the circuitry, like the electronic noise, in the 3.5mm.
Okay, I've just been looking at some other microphones, and some of them still have the 3.5 mils, and they're listed as a podcaster microphone, and I have no idea what sounds on this thing. It's probably just Intel on the motherboard.
Right. But unless you want to get, a USB sound card, then just find a microphone that's already set up for USB.
Yeah, that'll be your safest bet. I mean, the blue snowballs are quite good as a basic one.
I've got a Blue Yeti now, so...
Yeah, you can
he's
pick
got the step
USB sound cards up for a few bucks. They're not that expensive at all on eBay.
Yeah.
If you want to
Some
go
up for around
XLR, there's some cheap USB interfaces. Like the one I picked up for myself was the Behringer UMC22, which has like a XLR input and a line input for, like, if I get a guitar or some sort of line device I can plug in there.
Yep, I've got the lesser version of what he's got, and I've got similar features. One XLR and then one what is it? It's not 3.5mm. It's like what, like 5mm or 6mm or something like that.
Yeah, it's 6.5mm in it.
Yeah, it's got 2 of those. It's got one for an instrument in, and that's what I'm thinking about hooking up that Akai thing to, and then it's got a headphone out to monitor everything that's going into the box. So it's a really good little box. I mean, it's got everything that you would need. I think I bought it for $25-$30. So as far as getting started goes, it's fairly cheap as far as those things go. Because I was even eyeballing the Scarlett i212 or something like that.
Yeah, that's on my Amazon wish list.
Yeah, and it's $100, but I don't actually know how much better it is and how it's better in what ways. I don't know.
It'll be the
all I have to go
amps in
with.
it.
Ah, gotcha. So yeah, and really all
preamps.
I've got to go on is just people writing about it. So if I buy it, I mean, it's I don't know, it's $100, man.
Yeah, that Behringer UM2 seems to be a lot of bang for buck.
It's what I'm on right now, so it seems like it's pretty decent. Decent enough for what I paid for it. I'm not going to complain for sure.
Yeah, and the UMC22 like is a couple of quid more. I mean, I paid £32 for mine, so whatever that is in US, roughly about the same with Brexit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's not bad at all.
And finally, I signed up to be a STEM ambassador. Got the idea from Tony when I saw him on his Twitter. He was a STEM ambassador, and I thought that sounds like a really good opportunity to help, like my local area. STEM is at least in the UK, is a big thing in education for science, technology, engineering, and maths, and it's like a volunteering role. And to do it, obviously, it's working with kids mainly. So I had to do a DBS check just to make sure I've not got criminal records and stuff like that. And yeah, I'm looking forward to signing up to do some volunteering on that, and hopefully hearing back from some local schools to do like geeky Raspberry Pi type projects with some of them.
Very cool. I really enjoy teaching. I mean, anybody that has that light bulb come on, it's just a really good feeling. So I hope you have a good experience with it.
Yeah, well, hopefully, some of the guys at one of the guys at work, the audiovisual guys, got a load of old Raspberry Pi 2s that he said he might be able to lend us to do some of these. So that'd be quite cool.
Yeah, Oliver, have you ever want any help with setting up a Raspberry Jam or anything like that? Maybe give Les a tweet or hit him up on Telegram or Discord in the Odd Camp channel, because he does loads of stuff around that.
Oh, cool. I'll have a look out. I think that's about it for me.
All right. Well, we'll head on down to the news then. Well, this fortnight's news brings gifts. We were talking about it on the last show, and we were saying something to the effect of, it's going to be out soon, it's going to be out soon. Well, it was. I think it was just 2 days after we said something about it. Linux Mint 19.3 is out. If you didn't figure that out by now, with every single one of us going through and saying, yeah, we upgraded to 19.3. Well, I don't know what to tell you. Well, other than, it's out. Go get it.
Are you telling me
check.
19.3 is out now?
It's totally out, Moss. If you haven't gone to go get it, you should totally go get it. I don't even know if you're going to have any problems with it or anything like that.
Oh, probably not, but if I do, I'll tell you about them.
Listen, I will probably be able to help you figure it out, too. Something about an X status app indicator, maybe. But
well, there's still an issue on that.
Oh, yeah, you were telling me the Telegram thing looked weird. Well, go get it anyway. Go to the System Reports app. If you're fully updated, your System Reports app is going to tell you that you can go get this. Or if you haven't fully upgraded and you still want it anyway, go to the Update Manager, and I think under View, you'll find it. I can't remember where it's at the moment because I didn't do it this way last time, so it was like 6 months ago. So anyway, before you do that, and it'll remind you during the installer, go update all of your extensions and plugins. Things might break otherwise. So get all that upgraded, go update to Linux Mint 19.3, and enjoy. But right off the back of that, Linux Mint Monthly News, the December edition, is released. So in this month's blog post, we get keyboard shortcuts were removed in Cinnamon's grouped window list, but they made their way back. So it turns out they removed this because I think it was Clement Code thought that they weren't being used a whole heck of a lot. So they removed them out. And then, of course, as you do, you are missing this feature, and then you email, hey, where'd this feature go? And yeah, so they saw that, and they're going to be putting them back. So if you're affected by this, hang tight. Hang tight. If it's not already updated, I noticed that we got some Cinnamon upgrades yesterday. At least that's when I applied them. That they may already be fixed. So take a look, update. If it's still not there, yeah, it's coming. It's coming. Clem also noted that the root password notice was confusing. It's just good password hygiene. So in this, basically what happened, you go into the System Reporter app and it's like, hey, you should probably put a password on your root account. And by default, though, Ubuntu disables this account, which means that Linux Mint disables this account. So it's not like anybody can log to it immediately. It's if you went and turned on the root account and didn't set a password to it, you might be able to access the root account without a password. So not saying that your root account is enabled, just that it's good password hygiene or good security hygiene to have a password on that account. So it was just reminding you of doing that. And it didn't actually tell you, it didn't actually give you a button to press to make it work. It told you to open up a terminal and run these commands to make it work. And that was confusing in and of itself. So they are looking into ways to make that more clear. So yeah, just keep an eye out for that. That'll probably be coming down to you. Grub2 Theme Mint and Grub2 Theme Mint 2K have now been removed cleanly. So if you saw that lingering around and it wasn't working right, it's gone now. And then locales other than English US may display incorrect clock information. If this affects you, I've got a link in the show notes. Go click that. Go tell them about it. They need to know information about you to help fix this. And then the thing that is affecting Moss, that you have to jump through a bit of a hoop to get it done. And the system reports tells you what to do. But if for some reason it's not working for you, there is a report button for that as well. Go let them know.
Well,
they're gonna.
The system report told me to do it, but it didn't. I didn't understand why I needed to do it, so I didn't bother. And then you told me why I needed to do it, so I did it.
Yeah, and I think the underlying thing is, I think in the Linux community in general, we're very averse to, well, here, let me do that for you. So I think a lot of times it's just, well, I'm not going to touch your system, so you do this. I think that's the attitude toward it. And that's kind of how you had to deal with this. But anyway, they're going to ask you to include what desktop you're using, so XFCE, Mate, Cinnamon, what your panel layout is, and then what packages you have installed. So if you want help with that, please let them know. Use that link, and then supply them with that information that I've got in there. And then the last thing on this whole shindig is and Clem used the word luxury. The luxury Mintbox 3 is now available. There are two of them that are out, one for $1,400 and one for $2,500, hence the word luxury, right?
If you need to ask what they cost, you can't afford one.
Yeah, exactly. There is no budget version of the Mintbox 3. And, I think that's just simply because these are meant to be workstations. You're meant to sit down in front of them and get work done on them.
They're not the mini boxes that they were last time. These are full freaking tower desktops.
Yeah, but they are still small as far as I know, right? These are going to be your mid-sized Dell or whatever, so not big by any means.
The previous ones were like book size, weren't they?
Yeah, and I think these are going to be just like large book, very, very large book. But they're still going to be fairly small.
Nook, not book.
Oh, Nook. Oh, good. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. We're hitting book sized now, like 1,000, 2,000 page book here. But I mean, yeah, it's going to be a fairly large sized machine, but it's definitely not going to be like your mid tower mini or what is it, micro ATX case. It's going to be smaller than that. So we got the Mintbox 3 Basic. The entry level is going to have a Core i5-9500 in it, 6 cores, 16 gigs of RAM, 256 gig Samsung NVMe SSD. That's going to be the $1,400 one. And then the Mintbox 3 Pro is going to come with an i9-9900K, 8-core CPU, GeForce GTX 1660 Ti, 32 gigs of RAM, and a 1 terabyte Samsung NVMe. Yeah, these are good. These are going to be some really powerful machines. The only thing, and it's not even really a complaint. I still think they should
send us some for review.
Definitely. He did mention in the post that they have developer review boxes floating around for the developers. I get it. They actually work with the hardware. I just want to test one,
Yeah, they've got 8 USB 3 ports, 7 of which are Type A and 1 is Type C. And it's confusing actually because they have 9. And I thought they list the front panel has 3, 1 Type C and 2 Type A. One's a Gen 2 Type A and one's a Gen 1 Type A, all USB 3.1. That's where I was getting confused. And on the back, they're all Gen 1 Type A's, and there's 6 of them.
Oh, gotcha, cool.
That's the cheap
plenty
one.
Of connectivity then.
Yep.
Yeah, very nice. And it's got like an OLED display on the front, so it can display temperatures and all kinds of cool stuff, or just the awesome Linux Mint logo, whatever you want, really. Just really interesting machine, and it's got a ton of horsepower in it. So I mean, if you're in the market, if you're looking to pay somewhere in between these two numbers, I mean, give it a look. It might not be, or it might be exactly what you're looking for. Mm-hmm. Yeah, my only qualm with that is, man, I like AMD. I'm an AMD guy, man. So yeah, other than that, everything looks great. Well, off the Linux
and 1400 is a bit of a stretch.
Yeah, it's kind of getting there. Off the Linux Mint stuff, we've got the Librem 5 phone. Just got even more expensive. Tony Watts, you got something to say about this one, huh?
Yes, I do. I think we can all agree this is not helping this cause very much, but largely due to the cost of the hardware that's become realized, the price has gone up to $7.99 US greenbacks. Ouch. That's up a full $100 from the previous price. A couple of things to note with that, however, there is still time to purchase this before that price increase kicks in. And of course, anyone that has already ordered and has a pre-order in, they're not affected by this price increase either. So the basic model of the Librem 5 is going to be $7.99, which is going to put it right up there with the price of basically kind of in that same range as flagship devices from other manufacturers. And then just a little added note, there's also a variant called the Librem 5 USA, which you can purchase for the low price of $2,000 if you so desire.
Okay, so I don't think I'm gonna have either of these phones, but to their credit, they are doing the things that I think the community has been asking for a very, very long time, right? I mean, whether or not you agree with their business practices or whether or not you agree with their choice of hardware or whatever, they are championing that whole idea of, you want kill switches? We got kill switches. You want privacy? We got privacy. And they're taking that to its logical end with, I mean, assuming you trust the USA, as a citizen of the USA, you can buy the USA branded Purism Librem 5, which is in an exorbitant amount of money, right? I mean, not even the current most expensive iPhone is that expensive, is it? But the idea behind that, though, is that you can trust, air quoting here, the supply chain, because it's all USA supply chain. So it ain't going to be cheap. None of this stuff is going to be cheap. So to their credit, they're doing exactly what people asked them to do. But yeah, it's just a lot of money. But if those things are important to you, then I think you'll pay it.
Yep. Yeah, I agree with that. And I am confident that they'll sort the hardware issues that we saw in the early production release. And I think we'll have, a model that functions and lives up to what they said it would do. The specs of this thing are not super impressive, and particularly are not super impressive at that price point. But yeah, to your point, if this stuff is important to you, and privacy and security and hardware kill switches and all of those things are something that you want, and this is in the budget for you, then I think people are going to pay it. How many people, that remains to be seen.
Yeah. What do you want?
How many
people
are just going to say, I'm just going to get a Pine phone?
I mean, hey, probably quite a few, to be honest with you, because what do you want? You want cheap or you want secure? Take your pick.
Right. Yeah, and that's the distinction with the Pine phone. I mean, I am super stoked about the Pine phone, but the one difference there is the Pine phone is definitely going to have proprietary bits in it to make the connectivity possible for the carriers, and that's just what they have to do. So it will be running Linux, yes, but there will be proprietary stuff in it. The Librem 5, not so much, but you're going to pay more for that.
All right, and next up, Calculate Linux is out now with many flavors. Moss, tell me about these flavors.
Well, we got Calculate Linux 20. It's based on Gentoo 17.1, all binary packages recompiled with GCC 9.2, and overlays managed with eSelect. It will no longer come in 32 bits. However, they've got KDE, they've got Cinnamon, they've got LXQT, they've got Mate, they've got XFCE and XFCE Scientific. They've got a Calculate Directory Server, Calculate Linux from Scratch, and Calculate Scratch Server. Wow. It's a really cool Linux. I love the logo that they have. It's got one of the neatest penguins I've seen lately. And it's easy to install, even though it's got more advanced options than I've ever seen that I could understand. When I did my installation, there were more options than I've ever seen, but I understood each of them. instead of using fancy words like, if you tried to install Suzy lately, I couldn't get through it.
Wow, it looks like calculates based on Gentoo 17.1 and comes with eMerge, how you can install software, and a lot of cool things going on back here. All right, I was going to ask.
The big difference between this and Sabayon is that Sabayon uses the entropy package manager, which is very similar in the way it works to Aptitude. Whereas this uses the Gentoo base, which uses the Portage package manager, and that's a whole new thing to learn.
Got it. Very cool. So, yeah, I mean, I guess the reason you would want to use this is if you want to be building all of your packages.
Well, no, they are all pre-built. It's really nice. It installed a lot faster than Sabayon did, for that matter. So I think you should check it out and just get over this whole thing that Gentoo is hard.
Well, Gentoo itself is hard. When someone takes
I will
it
be
and makes it
starting up
easy for you.
the Gentoo cast next week.
You know what? You said it. Now it must be true.
Let's put that in all my predictions that don't come true.
Hey, you know what? Okay, I'm adding that to my prediction right now. Okay, here we go. We'll touch that in just a minute. All right, and next up we have Endeavour OS got their net installer off the ground. Moss, is another one for you.
Yeah, I forgot I signed myself up for it. I had to load the page. They've been able to solve all the problems the net installer was encountering sooner than expected, so they are proud to present the community development release of the combined installer. They don't even call it a beta release. It's passed all the basic tests, so when you install it, you download a little lump, and then it opens up the net installer, and you get to pick which desktop you want. And they've got quite an astonishing array.
So this is kind of like the Manjaro Architect Edition, where you really get to kind of build it. It's closer to Arch, but it's still Manjaro kind of thing.
Something like that, yep. They even have Budgie.
Interesting. I love me some Budgie.
They recommend a minimum of 4 gigs of RAM if you're going to run Budgie.
Yeah, it ain't light. It's fast, but it ain't light.
Yeah, if you do LXQT, they say you can get by with 2 gigs.
Yeah, that makes sense. Honestly, you can't just throw out there and be like, yeah, you can run LXQT on 512 megs. Yeah, but what apps are you going to run on it on top of that? So, yeah, you always
actually
need more memory than they say.
Mate, XFCE, and LXQT, they're saying, let's get 2 gigs for it.
Yeah, because you're going to be launching Firefox. I guarantee it.
Doesn't everybody?
I wish they did. That would be like the coolest Christmas gift ever. Hey, Firefox is now the #1 browser on the internet again. Ah. Speaking of Firefox, though, yeah, Firefox adds GNOME Search. Yay! So this is something that was only available on Web and Epiphany, but now it's available in Firefox on Fedora only. So is that something, does anybody know if that's something that's going to come to all the other distros?
I think they're moving towards getting it installed on everything, but for now they've managed to get Fedora to work.
All right. Well, that's cool. So I'm happy to see it come down to anybody else. DuckDuckGo is my thing, but I don't know, man. I mean, if it gives them a penny here or there, I might swap it over just so I can contribute. And then next up, Peppermint 10 Respin released. Not a whole lot of magic going on here, except they are rebasing on 1804. What was it, 3 or 4? It's the one with the hardware enablement 5.0 and Xorg 1.20. So Peppermint users, looks like you're just going to have to do an upgrade if you want on that train. Otherwise, a fresh install will get you there as well. So I like to talk about Peppermint because it's like our little nephew or something, right? Like Ubuntu is our one up, but Peppermint is one down from us. It's kind of nice.
Just to say, despite it calling it a respin, if you want some of the extra features in it, I do believe you've got to install that ISO to get the extra features that have been included in the release. You can't just update your current iteration of Peppermint to get the extra features.
Oh, no way. Oh, okay. Well, they're making it a little harder. All right, that's fine. That's fine. A little bit of work. That's okay. So next up is Kden Live 19.12. So I don't know. I've always wanted to get into video editing, and it's always been something that I don't know. I've just found fascinating. It's the harder version of the audio that we do all of the time. I mean, because you do audio as well as video and effects and all kinds of cool stuff. And as we're getting into this whole YouTube thing, I mean, it makes sense. It makes sense. So if I were to jump on the train of any kind of video editor, I know Shotcut is really good, but Kden Live, man, it just continues to be, I don't know if it's the best, but it's darn close. So in this version, you're looking at improved timeline responsiveness, fixed some memory consumption issues, improvements to clipping, the handling and the caching of it, fine-tuning the rendering thread so you can render things faster, fixing some lag. There's a new audio mixer, mastering effects. Oh, man. I mean, this is, it seems like a minor version as far as version numbering goes, but, man, this feels like features that you would see in, like, Kden Live 11 to Kden Live 12. Or something like that. It is enough to, yeah, man, just to make your jaw drop. And every single time I think of video, I think of Kden Live now. So hopefully this thing keeps getting better and better and better. I'm really looking forward to it. And as soon as I jump into it, yeah, I think this is where I'm going to start.
Yeah, really glad to see these updates. I have always been impressed with Kden Live because it's powerful, but also very user-friendly. I've used it a handful of times. And I've been able to just jump right in and do whatever I need to do. So this is a great project. Always glad to see the momentum there.
Yeah, for sure. And one of the things that I noticed, because, I mean, I saw this release and I was like, you know what? If you don't have it installed, you can't convince yourself to do video editing. So I went out and got it, but I realized that shock of, oh my God, I'm about to have 700 different KDE dependencies installed alongside two. Nope, just kidding. Flatpak. So I just went and got the Kden Live 19.12 Flatpak, and none of that craziness happened to me. My base system is just the way that it was when I started, and Flatpak has all of the KDE junk that needs to be run so that you can run Kden Live in the background. It's just all there. It's all there, and it has nothing to do with my system outside of that package. So
I always install the KDE, some of the KDE games anyhow, so that gets me all those dependencies. And heck, back when I was still on Windows, I would install all the KDE packages for Windows.
Yeah, I still get all the bloat, but I don't see it in dpackage anymore, so it makes my heart feel good.
Yeah. To what you guys were talking about earlier.
So if they have an app image, the only reason I don't do app image is because there's no easy way to update the app image outside of getting some third-party util, what was it? Oh, it was such a silly name. What was the name of that thing? Moss, we talked about it a couple shows ago.
I have no idea.
And Snap. It did all the packaging.
Stacer?
It was some funny name though.
There was a package manager that you had to really compile the bloody thing. Yeah, that was just 1 or 2 episodes ago. What was it? I don't know.
Anyway, Oliver, so have you installed it, or do you really prefer app image?
Yeah, I mean to be fair, that's the only app image I've got on my computer, and it's Kden Live.
Tony, once we cut you off?
Oh, not at all. I was the thought I was going to go back to was you had asked the question about Ubuntu Studio and if this was installed. And the only thing I was going to say there, Ubuntu Studio, I usually try to keep around as an installation on, in my dual boot or whatever. When it comes to content creation and editing, that's just a great distro to have around, even if it's just for reference to kind of understand what applications are there to do what function. when it comes to content editing. And Kden Live is one of those things that a lot of times I will boot into Ubuntu Studio just to use that.
And you don't have to jack with Jack. It's just there.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know. I just did it over Flatpak because you could just do Flatpak update and everything is just fancy. All the new stuff is there. I don't have to go back to the website and download a new app image, though that is not hard or anything. It just seems like a little bit more hassle than I want to deal with. And I mean, it's the Windows paradigm. We have solved the Windows paradigm here in Linux, and I think Flatpak and Snap do a really good job. Though snaps are still a little on the slow side to start up. Yeah. Other than that, I mean, yeah, I'm a Flatpak kind of guy. Seems like everything's Flatpak now. OBS is streaming to YouTube right now over Flatpak. So, yeah, Flatpak. I like it. Next up, Vivaldi 2.10 released. So, it didn't look like there were a huge amount of, like, features that were coming out in 2.10. Let me see here. Yeah, the big thing that they were talking about was, coordinating your themes. But the big thing, I think the biggest thing that they really got talking about was this user agent problem that they had been having. So for those of you that don't know what a user agent is, basically your browser has an identifier on it that it gives to every single website. So if you're running on Firefox, it's like I'm running Firefox version 71. If you're running Chrome, I'm running Chrome 79 or whatever it is. So it identifies itself to the website, so the website knows what kind of feature set it's dealing with. Well, Vivaldi would call itself Vivaldi, obviously. But if you're not Chrome, it will just tell you, nah, I don't think you support all the features, so I'm just going to give you a clunky version of the website. And so Vivaldi was fighting with that. And they were trying to whitelist a bunch of websites, blacklist a bunch of websites, but there's too many websites on the internet. They just gave up. So instead, they're maintaining a whitelist of websites that they know for certain support Vivaldi and will not treat it as a second-class citizen. But for everything else, they're just going to pretend to be Chrome. Because underneath it all, Vivaldi is Chromium. So all those features, they're there. So it's not like Vivaldi is, they're fudging it a little bit. But, I mean, it's not like you're going to be missing out on anything or, other than just being a little disingenuous about who you are. It's going to get you the full experience, and that's going to make anybody that uses Vivaldi a little bit happier. But as well, Oliver added in the Vivaldi blog, which is something that I absolutely agree with. They're championing something. So, Oliver, tell me a little bit about this.
Yeah, so this popped up probably a week or two ago. I spotted it. There's obviously with the Windows 7 support going end of life, like Vivaldi is saying that everyone should basically move to Linux. So obviously it's not, I put in a prediction, and I'll get to it later. But I don't think it's going to make a massive difference to the Linux Windows 7 going. But they make a load of good points of how and why to move to Linux and how to pick your distro and how to install it, and gives you loads of good information. And then obviously recommend that you use Vivaldi.
Yeah, I did just look at their blog, and the one quibble I have is it says, you can check the popularity of different distros with this link, and they link DistroWatch.
No! Of course they did. I don't know. I mean, there's not a really good way to do it. So, I mean...
I love DistroWatch. DistroWatch loves us, but that's not the way to check the actual popularity of distros.
Yeah, they're in a bubble there. But, I mean, they do make some good notes here that, I mean, Windows 7 is still being used on 27% of all PCs, and Vivaldi is about 15% of that. And wow, I mean, and they mentioned, you probably don't want to go to a more resource-intensive operating system like Windows 10. You might want something a little more lightweight or efficient. And they do mention that it's resistant to viruses, but take that with a little bit of a grain of salt, because, I mean, no one's going to stop you from typing in sudo install this virus.sh. So, be careful, just as you would with any device. You just don't install random crap and don't put sudo in front of anything. that you are not sure of. But yeah, I mean, and then it goes down and yeah, it does mention go take a look at DistroWatch for some popular stuff. But I mean, it's not necessarily insanely skewed. But yeah, you do get these pulses of, in a couple days when something's released, that shoots up to the top of the list or whatever. But yeah, they mentioned Solus as well, which I agree with. Solus has been my number 2 for quite a while, though I've been testing out Manjaro. So, sorry, Solus. And then, yeah, they just make some really good points on moving over. And yeah, it's good stuff. It's good stuff. I do appreciate Vivaldi for shouting out Linux. That's a really good thing.
What got me was the fact that they've got 14% Linux users as Vivaldi.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess using Chrome is it's a tough sell when you're already trying to be like, hey, I'm not really a Windows fan in the first place. So I don't know. Google and Microsoft tend to, I don't know. They remind me of each other. Well, next up, and this should have been up with the Librem 5 thing because it's a Purism thing, but Purism now has a server option? What's going on here? So they've got a $2,700 on the low-end server option that comes with like a 45-watt Xeon D1541, 2 10-gig NICs, 2 1-gig NICs, 1 IPMI port for remote access, up to 100 gigs of RAM or 128 gigs of RAM, 6 SATA ports, and M.2 slots. So, I mean, these are pretty capable machines. What is going on? And when you dig down into it, it turns out they make available for you, to be honest with you, it looks like a super micro build. So it very well might just be super micro stuff with your typical Intel things, but you've got pure boot. So the secure boot process, right? The BIOS that you can trust, and Librem key, and yeah, just a good set of hardware. So again, if security is your thing, yep, it might just be the Librem server that you want to buy. So take a look at it. If you're in the market for a 1U box, it seems like what this is. Interesting nonetheless, though I'll probably continue white boxing my stuff. I love building my own, really. I think that's just me, though. And the last thing is DXVK 1.5 is released. So D9VK is now a part of DXVK. They're all one big happy family. Yay! So now you can play DirectX 9 games through using DXVK. But we got some quibbles with that? Is what's going on?
Well, I always understand things backwards. But Michael Tunnell, if I understood him right on This Week in Linux, said it the other way around, that DXVK is no longer being maintained, but D9VK is, and they added it to their project. But okay, as I say, the last time I understood something differently from what you thought, I was wrong.
Yeah, I don't know about that. Well, okay, so here's the deal. That might have been an emerging thing because, here's the story. The maintainer of DXVK was basically kind of pulled what Clem did, right? Where it was like, look, I'm just unhappy with the state of how things are going because of, and what he was talking about was that he felt that DXVK is a kind of a hodgepodge of a bunch of different code that made things work. And it's not necessarily the fault of DXVK. You have to understand that DirectX 11 and DirectX 9, for that matter, are not the best written software. Microsoft works in these weird silos where they will get a group of people to work on one thing, a group of people to work on another thing, and a group of people to work on the glue between the two. And those groups don't necessarily talk, so you end up with weird code. Not necessarily full-on buggy code, but weird code. And when you're trying to translate that to something like Vulkan, you're going to end up with a patchy mess that it just works. And a lot of times, you're not going to understand why things work, especially when you get down to the driver level of stuff. When you're working on a driver, I forgot what driver I was reading about, but it was one particular driver, and it was you divide by 100 just because that's how the driver likes it, or just because that's the way that the hardware likes it. And it's, why are you doing that? And it turned out that it had something to do with floating point integers, but the floating point numbers. But that beside the point, right? So DXVK is a hodgepodge because it has to be. And the main maintainer of that was just lamenting the fact that, if he goes in and tries to fix or add features to DXVK or fix this particular thing, there are going to be regressions that he is not going to be able to replicate. And that is hard. This is your baby in the first place, right? You love this thing. And when you poke it and it breaks in undescribable ways, that just makes your job really, really hard. So the maintainer was not saying that he was no longer going to maintain the project. What he was saying was he is no longer going to be adding features to the project because, and here it comes, it's feature complete. DX11 and DX9 still has some work to be done. But DX11 is feature complete. You can take a DirectX game, force it through DXVK, out on the other side of Vulkan pops out usable games. It's feature complete. What he is going to be doing from this point on now is going to be adding in bug fixing for individual games, and just like what we're going to have here in just a minute. So he's not abandoning the project. The project is not in is not no longer being maintained. It's basically just going to be in a maintenance mode where the guy will go in and bug fix things, but any major tweaks to the software could very well blow the whole thing up. So he's just not going to touch it in that way anymore. Just bug fixes.
Okay, well, if Michael Tunnell can be confused, so can I.
And, to be honest with you, this is just me reading the guy's Reddit stuff. Because he came in and talked about Reddit. There was a big conversation about it. He came in, kind of cleared up a little things. Some other people kind of cleared up what he was talking about. And, that's just kind of what it rolled out to. He's not abandoning it. He's just going to maintain it. And to that point, we've got some maintenance fixes. So some HUD improvements, as well as some fixes for games like Crysis 3, FIFA 19, Halo, the MCC, the Master Chief Collection, and Star Citizen. So in DXVK 1.5 or 1.5.1 or whatever comes out later on, we're going to be seeing a whole lot more of that. Fixes for this game and that game. This game no longer stutters at this point. This game no longer crashes because of this or whatever. That's really where he's going to focus his effort. And making D9VK run a little bit better as well. So this is a really good thing. I think if you play games, DXVK is amazing. It's what enables Proton and Steam to say that this game works on Linux. So I'm really excited for what's coming up. I don't think it's gonna die. It's just gonna keep being on, keep on keeping on, keep on being awesome, something like that. Yeah. All right, and that's the end of the news. So let's head down to the security update. All right, security time. I'm going to keep this thing as short as I can. There's a bunch of CVEs in here. There's a bunch of stuff. There's two topics that we want to talk about. First is Chrome and Chromium are affected by Magellan 2.0. Now, Magellan was a set of vulnerabilities that came out last year that you were able to use to leverage and take information off of a desktop computer, right? Information that was regarding memory or just other things that Chrome was doing in the background. You could extract information out of that. Well, it looks like the resurgence of Magellan. So 5 CVEs affecting SQLite in Chrome and Chromium prior to, I hate Chrome version number, 79.0.3945.79 with Web SQL enabled. All right, so here's the deal. There is a slight, well, it's basically just a SQL backend in every browser so that you can, like when you remember passwords, when you do all that kind of thing, if Chrome is ever remembering anything, it's because of this. So if you've gone in and enabled Web SQL, this is not necessarily just regular old people, so not a lot of people are affected by this. But if you are one of those, you're going to be affected by these flaws, and these particular CVEs are able to be leveraged to extract information out of memory, things like passwords, so not really good. The researchers are not going to follow the normal 90 days. So usually you give a company 90 days, and after 90 days, if it's not fixed, you just publish the stuff anyway. They are not going to do that, and they're going to keep these fixes close, or these vulnerabilities, or at least the proof of concept, close to the chest for now. Just so, because how many people use Chrome? Just on this podcast, like all of us, in some way or another.
Firefox only.
Nope, not me.
Good man. Good men. Chromium at all? Not even Chromium?
Nope, I delete everything with Chromium. I go in every install I do. Go into sudo apt remove -- purge Chromium *.
Very cool. All right. So it probably doesn't affect you, but what if you use any web apps? Did you know that Discord is, what's the name of that thing? It's that package where it's basically just a web app. Electron! Guess what Electron runs on?
Chromium.
So, here's what I was saying, that most people aren't going to be affected by this in their Chrome and Chromium installs. You're not affected by this like that, because both of those things, if you're running them on Windows, update themselves, and if you're running on Linux and stay up on your updates, take care of themselves too. So most people aren't going to be affected by it directly like this. They are going to be running something like Discord or Slack or some other Electron app that has Chromium built into the backend, because that's the way that it renders all of this stuff. And until that app upgrades their internal version of Chromium past 79.0.33945.7, I hate those version numbers. Until they upgrade to or past that version, you are going to be affected by Magellan 2.0. So this is really where the scary comes out. What Electron apps do you run? And what version of Chromium are you running in those Electron apps? If you say, I don't know, well, welcome to the club. Neither does anybody else, because nobody cares and nobody ever actually looked at it until things like this happen. So what I would recommend is obviously make sure your system updates are taken care of. That'll take care of Chrome and Chromium for you directly. But all of your other apps that you run, Electron-based, make sure those stay as up-to-date as you can possibly get them as well. So, scary stuff. A lot of people run Chrome, so just be aware of that one. And in the last one, and this ties into the whole reason why I'm running this Pi 0W camera thing, Ring Doorbell, plagued by security issues. Now, before I get back up on my soapbox for the second time today and talk about just how bad things are, this, at least the majority of it, it's not Ring's fault. So I'm not an Amazon fan. I don't need them in my house. I don't want an Echo. I don't want a Ring. I don't want any of that stuff. But, I mean, we had, what was it? There was, back in July or something like that, there was a 8-year-old that was being talked to in Mississippi through a Ring device. And then before that, there was a Florida family that had racial slurs thrown at them through their Ring device in Texas. Hackers hijacked a Ring device and told them to pay them 50 Bitcoin so they could get out. There's an entire pot. Well, there was
50 Bitcoin.
Yeah. Oh well, come on. No one's gonna pay that. Well,
right?
Okay. No,
no, not for
I don't
a
think
Ring
anybody could
video
afford
doorbell.
to pay that. Yeah, no way, man. Just rip that thing out, man. But
right.
There was even a podcast called Nullcast that was in Discord. It was just a Discord thing. You just hop into the Discord, whatever, and listen to it. But these guys were going around and doing these things. Outside of the fact that that's a straight felony in the U.S., let's
just record ourselves and broadcast ourselves doing something completely illegal.
Seriously, I don't know what these guys were thinking. Just a cursory Google would say that outside of things like the FCC, nobody in the government likes you doing this, and the hammer will be brought down. And like a few days after one of their recent podcasts, they came out and were like, I cannot use that word on this podcast, but they are not doing well. At least 2 of the people on that podcast now have suits against them. Yeah, it's really illegal. That no matter what you think it is, no matter how funny you think it is, that's straight up hacking. So, and I'm not trying to perk up any ears about script kiddies versus hackers, but still, it's gonna be pursued as hacking, regardless of if you got the app from somebody else and you don't know how it works, or you wrote the app yourself. You're still gonna be taken down the same way. So anyway, long story short, these Ring doorbells have not had a good rap in 2018 and 2019, and it doesn't seem like any of this stuff is going to be getting any better, because Ring doorbells do not email you or text you or anything when someone from Kazakhstan logs into your account. You don't get notified, right? I mean, Steam notifies you, Battle.net notifies you, Amazon notifies you, Google notifies you, everybody notifies you except Ring. Come on, guys. We're almost 2020. By the time you hear this on your podcast catcher, it's 2020, guys. Let's come on. At least email somebody so they at least know that something's going down.
50 Bitcoin? That's over $350,000.
Yeah, even with the crashing cost of Bitcoin, that's still an insane amount of money. But
that's the current price, about $7,500 per Bitcoin.
Whew, that's a lot of money still. And on top of that, Ring does not limit the incorrect login attempts to your account. You don't have to have local LAN access to your Ring doorbell. You just log into your account and you can look at your thing. And guys, someone posted it in Discord or Telegram. They had this list of, I think it was Crypto Dan, so I appreciate that, Crypto Dan. The password was ABC123. That literally shows up in one of the top 10 or top 100 most used passwords, whatever it was. And yeah, I mean, passwords that you don't expect to be in there. Password 1, ABC123, 1234567. It just, And I think I made a comment that, like, it's never going to happen. Nothing is ever going to get fixed until we get away from this whole 8-character complex idea. It's a bad idea. But anyhow, yeah. Ring's just not had a good run with it. So if you're using Ring, for the love of God, make a good, long, strong password. And I will tell you, use like 24 characters. And you're like, but Leo, that's so long. And I'm like, but it doesn't have to be complex. Just make it something that you love, plus your address, plus something else. Just make it a massively long, yes, a huge phrase, massively long password that no one's gonna guess. No one's gonna guess. No one that doesn't know
your favorite quote from a movie. Try that.
Yeah, there you go. And
I'm all out of bubblegum.
There you go. So I'm not averse to a password manager, but you got to remember that the people that are buying these Ring doorbells are not necessarily always the same people that are receptive to the idea of a password manager. So if you're not going to use a password manager, because that is a really good way to do this, just make a massive password, massively long, as much junk as you can put in there that you can remember, and just make it memorable. That's going to beat this whole dictionary attack thing that we've got going on. And yeah, change it from time to time. I don't like changing them a lot, but every 6 months, just flip it. That'd be nice. Anyway, I'm going to get off my soapbox. This happens every time I talk about security, so I'll stop. And yeah, we'll move on. Unless anybody's got something to say about any of this. All right, cool. Then let's move on to Linux innards. So in this section, we are going to be making really bad predictions. If you listen to the last show, how many did we get right? 1? And that was Tony. So, yeah, I appreciate you, Tony Hughes. You were the only one of us that got it right. So
that definitely means I won't get anything right this year.
I think it's just going to be a repeat. You're going to get them all right, and we're all going to be wrong. Everybody else is going to be wrong.
Well, mine had the right idea, just the wrong angle.
There you go. Okay. So we got some predictions coming at you. Joe, we're going to start with you. Tell me what you absolutely 100% know is definitely going to happen in 2020.
Oh, yeah, that's this first one, definitely. We will see many more operating systems that are optimized and working for the Raspberry Pi 4. That's going to happen. And then we'll probably also see a new slim version of the Raspberry Pi 4 sometime this year. They're going to slim it down again, take out the Ethernet port, drop the USB ports down, make it much like the 3A. Okay, and then my next prediction is Microsoft will push more towards applications that can run on either operating system, and we will still be blind to their evil plans. And my last one, The announcement for Edge OS will be towards the end of the year. And what I mean by Edge OS is it's going to be based on Chromium OS, and it's going to be for tablets and smaller devices. And it's going to be from Microsoft. And probably they're going to call it Edge OS.
So is this kind of like a refactoring of your Dex prediction?
Well, no, I actually had an Edge OS prediction for this year. But considering that, Edge browser on Chromium didn't really come to fruition on Linux yet, I'm expecting it to be at least another year before Edge OS starts happening.
Okay, all right. All right, any other last-minute predictions from you, Joe? Anything else that you want to add?
Nothing.
Okay. Yeah, okay, all right. Okay, so my first prediction, I'm gonna start off pretty easy and I'm gonna ramp my way up. My first prediction is that next year will definitely be the year of the 2020. No, okay, all right, here we go.
That's
Here's
a good
the real
prediction.
one. I'm pretty sure that one's gonna come true. Here we go.
Sounded like real 2020 vision there, Leo.
See? Yeah, it doesn't even have to be hindsight on this one. All right, so my first real actual prediction is gonna be Microsoft Office will have a native Linux version released. So what I mean by that is not web apps, not go to office365.com and log in and you can do your Word, whatever. No. There will be a downloadable binary installer that will give you real, actual Word on your desktop that you double click just like you do on Windows and you edit your docs. And it will be, I'm really stretching it here. It'll be feature complete with the Windows version.
So not just a wine wrapper.
Absolutely not. No, it will be native. Not wine native, native.
Why buy that when you can get SoftMaker?
Because, Moss, every time you bring it up, there's always the one guy that's like, well, SoftMaker doesn't do this particular because of that. Because some people just absolutely 100% need Microsoft Office, and some people won't come over to Linux until Microsoft Office is here. And I think that the convergence of all of that is Microsoft Heart Linux or something like that. And they've been porting over a whole lot of stuff, man. So I think it's Office time. It's Office time.
Well, I think the next one they're trying on is OneDrive, because they've just released Teams native.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, what we had PowerShell come over. We had VS Code was like the first domino to fall. Then it was PowerShell. Now we got Teams, Skype. That's right, Skype is over. No, that's Electron.
Well, they literally announced that Microsoft Teams was the first step in moving Microsoft Office to Linux.
Right, but the prediction hinges on it's going to happen in 2020 because this could take years. It could take I don't know. So 2020, it's happening. It's happening by December 31st.
Teams is Electron, though.
That's okay. Everything is Electron. It'll be Electron. Okay, hold on. We gotta. Okay, all right. Oh no, see that wouldn't work. So it can't be Electron. So my prediction hinges on the fact that it can't be Electron. It's going to be native. Ooh, is VS Code Electron? Oh, I'm gonna burn myself right here. I think it is. Maybe it's not. I don't know. Anyway. Microsoft Office native, totally. It's happening. All right.
We've got to keep our predictive record up, you know.
Oh, for sure. We should pin it to the front page of mintCast so we can see how wrong we are. All right. Here's one that is almost guaranteed to be wrong. And this is more of a wishy thing, but here's it is. Adobe Photoshop, not the whole Creative Suite, not yet. Adobe Photoshop will have a native Linux version released to Linux in 2020. Ooh. Those are the game
that is
changers.
wishful thinking.
Ooh.
It is wishful thinking, but man, I am telling you, it's... Do you want me to say it? I'm going to say it. 2020 is going to be the year of the Linux desktop. Watch. And it's going to be these two apps that do it. It's going to be the Office Suite, and it's going to be an Adobe app or two. I could be wrong with the Photoshop, but I really have a feeling Adobe's going to do it.
That will get refuted down in our vibrations from the ether, so just wait for it.
I thought 2019 was the year of the Linux desktop.
Listen, every year is a Linux desktop if you try hard enough.
Okay.
See, and that's why we can keep saying it.
Yeah, 2020 is the year we will get 4% Linux desktop.
Listen, I'll settle for 2%. I'll take 2.
So what version of Adobe Photoshop are we going to get? Is it going to be the 1999 edition?
Okay, all right.
gosh.
So you can already do like Adobe Photoshop 7 or whatever it is through Wine or whatever. No. It's going to be the current one.
Oh.
It'll be current. Yeah. I'm really adding to this prediction. Okay, it's going to be current Office and it's going to be current Photoshop, and they're both going to be native and they're both going to be running on Linux.
Not a prayer.
I think you've got a good shot at Office, but when you started going into Photoshop, I don't know.
Well, they're 2 separate predictions. I could be wrong on one and right on the other. We'll see how it goes.
Next thing
But
you'll
I'm-
predict is AutoCAD, right?
Listen, all right. So my next prediction, Eric Leitz, this is for you. AutoCAD is gonna. Okay, no, I really can't predict that. I have no idea. I don't follow them at all. But you know what? I'm gonna throw it in there. I don't care. I'll be wrong. AutoCAD 2020 or 2021, whatever their next release is. It's gonna have a Linux version. Yeah, the one released in 2020. It's definitely gonna be Linux native.
Write it
That
down
one
so
is-
we can refute it later.
There we go. All right. I will definitely be wrong about this one. I'll put a smiley face by it so I can remember just how dumb I was being. All right. So here's one. Moss will record a Gentoo show, not a Sabayon show, not a what did we calculate Linux show. It'll be Gentoo. Moss will record a Gentoo show in 2020.
You're really trying to go 0 for 5, aren't you?
Oh yeah, I said it in the Telegram group. Like, I'm going big or I'm going home. These things are gonna happen, or I'm just gonna be wrong from top to bottom. That's pretty much it. So I have one more, and this.
Just a minute, Leo.
Okay, go for it.
You're not allowed to bribe him to do the show.
No, that was never a stipulation. Never.
Well, you
I feel
also
like-
have to figure who the heck's going to do the audio editing on it.
Listen, if you do it, just so I can be right, I will do the audio editing on it. Am I about to get one of them right now? Moss, are you about to agree to this? Oh, he's thinking about it. All right, Moss, you think about it, and then I'm gonna go on to my last
That
one.
ship sailed a long time ago. I ain't going near pure Gentoo. Compiling my own code? You got to be joking.
I'm just saying, we got 11 months for you to
You
keep
might
that
as well
attitude
predict
up.
I'll do a Linux from scratch episode, you know?
That's gonna be next year after you do the Gen 2 episode.
Don't think so, but go ahead. Next.
All right. Hey, bribing is still on the table. I don't know where Tony came up with that. That's totally not a stipulation.
How much?
$6.48. That's what I got.
Not going to happen.
All right, that
I
might
have a
be
feeling you
$8.
managed to send him a laptop pre-configured with Gentoo, and then you might have it.
Ooh! I didn't say he had to compile his own software.
Oh, just
did I?
send me a
Ooh,
laptop.
Look at
you know?
that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Send him
Tony,
the
I think
HP
you got
stream.
me.
Send me
I'll
a
just-
laptop.
I'll just send him a VM.
Send
There
me
you
a
go.
laptop.
All
Right.
here we go.
already on it.
Here's my last one. This is the one that I really actually believe in, and this is so Moss has this in his. Check this out. I think it was I don't remember who it was. Someone in the Telegram group posted this, and I mean I totally believe it. It's still rumor, but Firefox versus the world. Firefox will be the last popular non-Chromium holdout. So I'm not talking about like the thing that ships with GNOME, the web thing, Epiphany thing, whatever it is. Like people actually go out and download this for themselves and install it and all of that. Besides Moss.
It's
So-
web. It used to be Epiphany a couple of versions ago.
So what
There is
okay,
another one out there, which is Midori, which also ships with a couple of distros.
Okay, so here's the deal. It'll make it to like that list that people what is it? That NetShare list of browsers on the internet. It'll make it to that list. And Firefox will be the only one on that list that is not Chromium based. How about that? No chiding this time? Ooh, I feel like this is gonna happen then.
I think we're all worn out from talking about me doing a Gentoo show.
Okay,
Well,
fine.
a lot of people use Firefox, so you've got a good chance with that one.
Yeah, but
Yeah, I
the
think that's
stipulation is
fairly
going to be that Safari shows up, right? And Safari is not, as of this moment, Chromium. But that article that was posted in Telegram, ooh man, it could.
Wait for it. It's in Check This Out.
Yeah, we'll talk about it more there. All right, well, that's it for my predictions. Those are way out there. One of them two of them I really believe in. So, Tony Watts, what do you know is absolutely, definitely 100% going to happen in 2020?
Okay, absolutely, definitely, 100% going to happen. Maru OS will significantly expand their supported devices list. And I would go on to say, definitely a OnePlus device will be included in that list. Probably a 333T. I'm only hoping that because I have one. But I also believe they will add support for a Galaxy Note device, a Note 9, a Note 10, or maybe both. As these go on, these predictions will get less likely, but that one I think is definitely going to happen.
All right, I'll definitely hold me to that one.
All right, so moving on into less likely predictions. Although I still feel pretty good about this one, I think we will finally see mobile and desktop convergence in 2020, and I think it's going to come on Pine 64 devices. I think the Pine phone is going to be able to dock two peripherals and run a desktop experience and also full desktop application.
Is the Pine 64 coming with a USB-C connector?
I don't know for certain. I think so. I will have to double check.
If it comes with a USB-C connector, then yeah, that will happen.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel that this is not a real bold prediction either. Maybe not a layup like the Maru OS, but pretty likely. But
yes, it does. I just looked it up.
Yeah,
then it'll happen,
so
but I don't know how well it'll be able to do it with
just plug your DeX into
drivers.
Right, yeah.
Yep,
yeah, we'll
USB
see,
Type-C, power data and video out.
Yep. So you can throw that on a USB-C dock, and I feel pretty confident that we'll see convergence there with being able to run some full desktop applications and get some semblance of a desktop experience from the Pine phone.
Probably won't be very good, considering the state of the DisplayLink drivers on Linux.
Yeah, quality is another story, but I think we'll see this in some iteration.
Yeah, I really like the idea of convergence on a mobile platform that's like compatible with desktop. I think that's a Leo make note. There have to be an episode on convergence.
Well, we've been waiting for a long time now to get that, and we've seen hints, we've seen rumors, we've seen things that tried and failed miserably. So hopefully one day it gets right. I'm waiting for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's some good topics about it. Like, I won't go into it now, but like I saw a desktop environment like made out of HTML5 or something, which would work well on both phone and desktop, and that would do really well in convergence.
Yeah.
Plug 5 Pine phones together and make a supercomputer.
I think one of the things that really works in our favor is that we will have options from UB ports, from Plasma Mobile, from, we have various sources that this might potentially come from. So I think we're going to.
But I keep my eye on Maru and I keep my eye on UB ports to see if they start, greatly expanding their number of devices that they cover, and I'm always disappointed.
Yeah, well, one of the reasons I think the Maru OS is such a layup is the change there. It's now based on Lineage OS, so it's not real difficult for somebody that knows what they're doing with custom ROMs to take an existing Lineage ROM and add the support for Maru OS. And actually, I should have mentioned when we were talking about that, I looked at the supported devices list at the time I was making that prediction, and I saw that they just recently added the Google Pixel and Pixel XL. So that's a good sign. All right, guys.
The first model Pixel?
Yeah, first model Pixel and Pixel XL.
So then they're only, what, 3 years behind?
I think that's about right, yeah. And the Pixel is a device you would expect that to come to, but I would feel the same about a Galaxy Note or about a OnePlus phone. So I think it's only a matter of time.
Yeah, but if it gets integrated into, like, you know, mainline lineage, then yeah. A lot of devices.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be integrated into mainline lineage per se. It requires someone, you know, taking the lineage and adding that to it. That's going to happen, you know, as an add-on to lineage. I don't think we've seen any indication of lineage picking that up and incorporating it into the standard lineage OS builds for everything, but that would be really cool to see. All right, guys, the last one is probably not going to happen, I hate to say, but here goes. I'm going to carry over my prediction from last year, and frankly, I might just plug this in every year because I'm stubborn and I want to see it happen. So I'm going to say a big box store, be it your Best Buy, Micro Center, what have you, a big box store will sell a PC pre-configured with Linux in 2020. And I had to say...
Linux, not Chromium?
Not Chromium.
Or not Chrome OS?
Not Chrome OS. Not Chrome OS. A full Linux desktop, Ubuntu and Ubuntu variant, a full-fledged Linux desktop operating system, not Chrome OS.
Look, you're going to see it. You're going to see it in one of like the biggest towns in the U.S., and you're going to see is just going to be one on the on like hidden behind all the printers and stuff, but it's going to be there, and it's going to be
a 5-year-old processor, and it's going to cost like $2,000.
No way. It will cost $2,000, but you know what? It's going to be one of those Dell Sputniks. It's going to be one of those Dell XPSs that come with it already pre-installed or whatever. I betcha Dell is going to start putting them out there.
Yeah, that would be as likely as anything. Now, I feel like I was close because Micro Center at one point did sell a desktop computer with Ubuntu on it. I think you could purchase it with either Windows or Ubuntu, but that I think that was before last year. So I didn't make it for my last year's prediction because they had already stopped doing that. And as far as I know, in 2019, you know, nobody did that. But I'm
out at
still
Micro
carrying
Center
this
for you
for 2020. All right.
I think. Look, okay. One of two things is going to happen, right? A stopped clock is right twice a day, right? I mean, just eventually this is going to happen. Or yeah, man, we're gonna see that Dell Sputnik out there. So all right, I'll back out and let Tony Hughes take it from here.
Oh, I've minimized me show notes. Let me just get them back up. There we are. So I actually mentioned this prediction on Big Daddy Linux, but I thought I'd do it here as well. I predict that Linux driver support will continue to improve, and that more and more hardware manufacturers, and I'm looking at NVIDIA here, will develop open source Linux drivers. I don't know what other people think about that.
I don't know.
It's already in the works, isn't it?
No, NVIDIA do Linux drivers, but they're still closed source.
Ah, okay.
Not open source. AMD do open source Linux drivers.
So you're thinking?
I expect the answer to this is going to be no.
Yeah, I mean the corporate cynicism in me says nah, but. So are you saying that Nouveau? I think that's the thing that's built into Mesa. That Nouveau is going to just start getting better because of the openness of the NVIDIA.
let's just say that it's been 8 years since NVIDIA said that they were going to open source their drivers, and they did just do a data dump earlier this year that has allowed Nouveau to get better. So
I've got a chance.
they basically have said that, well, we intend to open source them someday, but it's just too much work to get around to right now.
Totally. Okay.
Okay. And the second one, it's not quite the same as what Joe was saying. I'm thinking that there might be a new Pi revision, but not the Model A. I'm talking about a totally new model. I know they denied it last year, and we ended up with the Pi 4, but I'm thinking a proper total new model, which I predicted last year, which didn't come true. I still think that adding M.2 support for the SSD, as some of the other single board computer manufacturers have done, is the way to go in the long term. But it will require a new board design, and that might be still a couple of years away. But if they don't do that, I'm just hoping that maybe someone's going to design an add-on board, one of the Pi, like Pi Moroni or Pi Hut or someone like that might think we've got somewhere we can go with this, and they might put an add-on board out there that'll do the same thing and add M.2 chips that can boot an OS to the Pi.
Well, they're still talking about adding bootable USB support. That's supposed to be coming. So
yeah, but that's not quite the same, because that'll still be an external device. I'm talking that eventually I think they're going to have to make this part of the board.
Yeah, but I don't think it'll be this upcoming year. The most they're going to come out with this year hardware-wise, considering the slow development on operating systems and the fact that they just came out with the 4, they will probably come out with a revised version of the 0, and I think they're going to come out with an A model for the 4. But maybe 2021 or 22, we'll see that M.2 built in. Yeah,
I'm just hoping it'll be a year earlier.
All right, so when we talk about the new Pi 5 that Tony is talking about, the episode name is going to be Pi and the 5, and then we're going to go down and talk about how Tony was right in all of 2020.
We do need another Pi episode.
Guys, I'm going to be sick that day.
Look, you just ride that Tony wave. You just like, yeah, this Tony was right. This one.
So we do need another Pi episode, though.
Oh yeah, probably, especially when we get Josh back.
Look, guys, I got a Pi camera going up, so I have content.
Yeah. Okay, so if no one else has got any comments on that, then I'll pass over to Moss for your big reveal on your predictions.
Well, just like my prediction last year, it really could happen, and it probably won't. I was going to beg off on any predictions, but no. Now that Canonical has agreements with Microsoft for WSL and with Amazon for Ubuntu Pro and AWS, I predict they will begin, or continue if they've already begun in secret, working on agreements with other megacorps such as Alphabet, Oracle, SAP, and Apache if they haven't already. And further, if they succeed with any one of these new alliances, they will be insulated from potential buyouts and takeovers, and I therefore predict this is the year Canonical goes full IPO.
Ooh. So hold on, we got to take that out. We got to break that out into multiple. I guess. Oh no, you did. Okay.
I did. So we did.
All right. Okay. Well, that sounds good then.
Anybody? No one wants to touch that. Okay, Oliver, what about you?
Yeah. I predict that Windows 7 is becoming end of support. I think I've got that one in the bag. But I also think that it's not going to increase the uptake of Linux desktop use. I'm going to put
blasphemy! Wait a minute.
Put a downer on that one.
You can't just walk past that. No, It's not even a little.
No, compared to the growth of just new computers, and they're either going to stick with Windows 7 and just like battle it out, or they're going to go out and buy a new computer, and it'll have Windows 10 pre-done on it.
Yeah, you
No
probably
upgrades
right.
to 8.
Or they could still do the free upgrade, which, despite Microsoft denying it's still available, it still is.
Yeah, but most hardware that can run Windows 7 well is going to suffer Windows 10. So the upgrade to Windows 10, like in that Vivaldi post, it's like it says it all, doesn't it? Like that's one of the reasons why Windows 7 users should move to Linux, but I don't think they will. I think it'll stay on Windows 7 or buy a new computer.
In my own life, I can test that because when Windows 10 got forced on me over Windows 7, and I saw all the security holes, and I backed up and still saw all the security holes, that's when I did move to Linux. So hopefully, if anyone out there is like me, which I seriously doubt, then it will increase the Linux desktop desktop uptake. Well, get my tongue moving. Thank you.
If you've got I was going to say, if you've got a Windows 7 machine that's got an early Core i processor that's capable of running 8 gig of RAM, you can run Windows 10.
Yeah.
So there's no reason to go out and buy a new PC.
I was going to say that Windows 10, when it first came out, it was very resource intensive. But they have made great improvements, and Windows 10 does run fairly well on older hardware now.
Which is why all those Chromebook failed on update.
Yeah, that was a separate
because
thing.
of But the challenge with this prediction is I don't know if we have a really good way to measure
Steam
the number of people that are coming from Windows 7 to a Linux desktop, right? How do you know?
Steam.
There's no way to know.
The Steam survey. Yeah, there is. The Steam survey. I'm not saying
that they're coming from Windows 7 to Linux, or that they're on Linux. That's the difference right there.
No, it will show you, because we have, what do they do, like a monthly report or something like that? Every time they put out that report, we saw, when Proton came out, we saw a tiny bump in the amount of people that were using Linux in Steam. I think we went from like 0.6 to 0.8% or something like that. But I think we're going to see the same type of bump. We're not going to double. If we do, that'd be fantastic. But I don't think we're going to double. But I do think we're going to see a market increase from the end of Windows 7, somewhere in that timeline. So I'm not saying it has to be January, because really, it's not like Windows 7 is going to stop working on you. You'll just stop getting updates. So like in the next few months, we'll start to see a slight uptick in the amount of Linux that we see on Steam. That's really the only way that I know to see that. That's the only place.
Yeah.
And
but
so
who does updates anyway? On Windows 7, it wasn't forced on you, so no one did updates anyway.
Most people nexted through it, so anytime they rebooted, it caught them.
Well, I don't know. I was getting bugged every couple days that, Windows 10 is available now. Please update. And it sucked, but I eventually gave in. And if I hadn't of, I wouldn't be on Linux right now.
And I'm glad we have the visibility in the Steam survey, but I have a feeling that most people that come to Linux desktop from Windows don't play video games, I think the number that do play games on Steam are probably in the minority. So it'd be really interesting if we had a better way of knowing that, but at least the Steam numbers or something.
Yeah, Leo, I would not be counted in those numbers because I don't use Steam.
And I don't think, and I know we're taking just a slice of the pie. I totally understand that. But I think that slice of the pie is big enough to be representative of the whole. And we're not talking like a one-to-one kind of thing, but if there's an uptick on Steam, then I bet you money there's an uptick in real life as well.
But the pie already runs Linux.
Ooh! Pie in the 5. There it is.
My second prediction would be Intel's new graphics card won't suck on Linux.
Ooh, well, see, because all their code's already in. Well, they're very nice to the old Mesa peeps. So, I think you might be right on that one.
I hadn't noticed it sucking now, but that's because I'm not on Steam.
Well, they're coming out with an actual card, right? Isn't that right, Oliver?
Yeah, there's been rumored that they're coming out with an actual, like a full-on GPU, not just like a baked-in integrated card. They're, like, to compete with AMD and Nvidia.
You know why they're doing that? I think they see that AMD is at least semi-successful in this space, and they're like, we could do it better.
I think the goal is to be to make the graphics card for the compute modules and stuff for the AI. So if they can get a graphics card in the gaming sector, then they can scale that up in the enterprise for AI and compute.
Oh, for sure. Yep.
Because they're already getting blown out of the water from Epic and AMD's CPUs.
I just love that so much. That's my favorite thing of like 2019. Intel caught on its heels again. Now Nvidia's going to do the same thing to them, I guess, right? And then Intel will fade away into obscurity. That'll never happen.
But I mean, Nvidia don't make any CPUs, so I think Intel and AMD are still always have that battle.
Oh, for sure. But now they're battling with Nvidia now too with the graphics card. So good luck.
Yeah, but we've seen this before. AMD had a golden period at the end of the 90s, early 2000s, and then Intel came back. And at the moment, it's AMD's time, but Intel will come back.
Well, at present,
You would
Intel
hope so.
hasn't even figured out their 10 nanometer.
Yeah. So Lisa Sue, please don't fail us. You're our only hope. All right. Last comments?
We'll all be wrong.
We're wrong. We know that already.
Yeah. We're all going to be wrong, but I have to come up with a whole new show title because, we can't all be wrong twice, I guess. We got something else.
That's your show title right there.
That's it. Oh, that's it. Oh, fantastic. We can't all be wrong twice. I love it. All right.
We can all be
Yes,
wrong
we
twice.
can. Yeah.
All right. Well, that'll do it then for our innards section. And let's head on down to vibrations from the ether. All right. So we got 2 vibrations and 1 echo. Ooh, yeah. All right. The first is from Katya from
let me take this one.
Discord. Go for it.
All right, Katya from Discord. An Engine X thing is weird and medieval. Yes, it is. Thanks for letting me know about MS Teams being on Linux now. Looks like it's available as deb and RPM file, which is nice. Mac hardware, indeed, not related to Mint in any way. I imagine you cannot even install Linux on it thanks to the T2 chip. It's indeed unsurprisingly expensive for something you only get for the OS, which doesn't even support FreeSync or modern OpenGL. So what do you do with it? Final Cut software? What do people use PIA VPN for? I understand it's mostly for people using illegal torrents, though it would make a lot more sense to use a VPS seed box, or if you don't know how to, rent a seed box elsewhere, or just subscribe to Netflix or Disney Plus for that same money. If you're on a business trip and don't trust the hotel Wi-Fi, then use company VPN. Any other geek purposes would be better solved with a VPS VPN, right? Okay, and now for this, as to why people would use like PIA VPN, they use it for anonymization, to prevent ISPs and Googles from monetizing search data. Also, they use it to prevent just sending out data over the open air. You're not trying to hide something, you're trying to protect yourself. And now, you can do the exact same thing, yes, with a virtual private server VPN. So, yeah, that is possible if you wanted to do it that way. It's just PIA is relatively cheap. VPS would cost, $60 a year for a low-end one from, DigitalOcean?
Mm-hmm.
So you're paying $40 a year for PIA, and you're not doing your own maintenance.
Yeah, and another point there is mobile too. PIA will has a mobile app. You can use that to anonymize your mobile connectivity when you're out and about, which is something
Do the
I
same
guess you
thing
wouldn't
with
get
OpenVPN and a VPS VPN.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay. Got it.
I will point out that, and I've said this at least twice before on the show, that Canada's Prime Minister Justin Trudeau made a public comment that all Canadian citizens should have a VPN. Whether he's got...
If you're using internet on the go, you should be using a VPN. Not necessarily over a cellular network, although an argument can be made for that. But if you're using Wi-Fi in any public place, you should be using a VPN.
Look, I think a lot of this boils down to, and I just pulled out my soapbox again because we're talking about a security topic, but like, you're shifting trust. You either trust your ISP or you don't. And if you don't, you might consider using a VPN, but you're not saving yourself anything. You're just shifting the trust. Now you have to trust your VPN endpoint to not do what you suspect your ISP of doing. So you've got to be really careful with this VPN conversation, just because it's all about
you're
trust.
Passing the trust. And the whole reason people trusted PIA is because it was a proven fact that they did not maintain any logging and could not provide any information to any entity. Now,
up till now,
with the sale, that's not necessarily true anymore, but that's the reason we were always talking about PIA VPN.
And I will point out that when I came on this show a year ago, October, I was mentioning Molvad and nobody knew what I was talking about. And now it has been mentioned on other shows as the popular choice over PIA with the current situation.
Mm-hmm.
I'm willing to wait and see what happens with PIA before I make a decision.
Yeah. And so I don't know with the Mac hardware thing. Josh likes Mac hardware stuff. I don't know. It's cool. It's no big deal. As far as the Teams thing, yeah, I'm actually kind of excited to it. I'm not positive that my work is going to go for it, but we do have a lot of Microsoft. I don't know, there's a lot of money being paid to Microsoft for some reason, so we may end up having that as an option. But the Nginx thing, yeah, unfortunate. It really is unfortunate. Moss, do you happen to have any additional information on that Nginx thing? Because I remember they were fighting.
No, I haven't. Let me see if I can find anything.
No worries.
Leo, aren't you our Mac fan? Can you comment on that Mac hardware thing?
Yeah, I'm gonna just disconnect from the show now. It's not happening. No, I have Mac stuff. So I mean, I have a 2013 Mac, MacBook Pro at work, and it runs Linux just fine. However, I think what you were talking about was that T2 chip. So yeah, I don't know. I have Mac stuff, but it's been assigned to me rather than me buying it. So half in, half out.
I was listening to the recording of the Biddle show earlier on, and someone on there said that the latest Macs make it very, very hard for you to install Linux on it. You can run a live image, but when you come, they've done something with the UEFI bootloader, and it makes it really difficult for you to get Linux to install.
That's the same way with any Android device, or the same stuff that Windows was doing in the past, making it difficult to install. And then you give it 6 months, somebody finds out a way to do it,
there it
and
is.
There you go.
Yeah, you just got to give the hacker community a little bit of time, and they'll take care of it for you. And then there'll be some website that you go to, you click a link, and then it totally does everything that you needed to do, and it installs some malware too. Yay! That's always how that jailbreak stuff goes, isn't it?
Well, I have done some quick searches and not seen anything on the update.
All right, so
For
the
Nginx.
Nginx thing to be continued, but yeah, it's just unfortunate for them. I really wish them the best on that.
Isn't it closed out now?
The Nginx thing? Because it's that was when the company that the guy was working for is making claim of ownership on that software now?
Right, I thought that got dropped.
Oh, I hope so. If you can find that link, you send that to me and I'll feel real good about myself. And for him. All right. So in in our call for anybody else's predictions, we got one guy that was brave enough to give us some predictions. So, Eric Leitz, does anybody want to take this? I'll take this, however you want to do it. Well, fine, I'll do it. So, he says, hello, mintCast team. After listening to episode 324.5 and your 2019 predictions for Linux, here are my 2020 predictions. All right. So Eric Leitz, you have just put yourself in the crosshairs for a late December show in 2020. We are going to drag this up and, rake you across the coals if you get it wrong. You're going to be part of the crew. All right. So his number one is Purism will go out of business. The Librem 5 phone endeavor will put it under. Ooh, this one is juicy. I like it. Anybody comments?
I think we'll have to wait and see. Certainly, there have been some challenges from the Librem 5, but my thought so far is I think even if the Librem 5 is a complete fail,
which it will be.
Which I don't know that will be, but their laptops will remain popular. So I don't think so, but we'll see.
Yeah. Okay. I feel like they're branching out enough that they're gonna find something. So I don't know. We'll keep an eye on it.
Okay, I do have updates on Nginx.
Okay,
I just posted a link down below in the check this out section since it was late in the show when I found it.
Hold on,
Okay.
Summarize it for me. Is the guy okay?
Basically, Nginx believes the reason for the criminal case and searches was the sale of the project to F5 Company for $670 million. Quote, if we hadn't sold the company or sold it cheaply or went bankrupt, none of this would have happened, end quote.
Yeah, true. Just opportunists.
In the near future, Konovalov and Sysoff are planning to develop a plan to protect Nginx from Rambler's claims. So it's still an open suit, according to this, but...
Well, if you check out the link that I just sent from December 17th, Rambler will drop Nginx criminal case. And then it was supposed to be handled in civil court, but the case looks dead after a former Rambler CEO shot down Rambler's main argument over the weekend.
Where did you send the link? I don't see it in Mumble.
Well, I didn't put it in Mumble. I put it in Check This Out.
Oh, okay.
All right.
So I wanted it in the show notes.
So long story short, the guy's okay, and we're probably going to see an Nginx Foundation in 2020. Ooh, I'm adding that to my predictions. Nginx Foundations 2020. All right. So Eric's next prediction was the Pine phone will be an amazing product and success story for Pine 64. All right. I'm going to hold you to this one. If this thing is a flop, I'm going to come after you.
Now, I don't necessarily know if it's going to be an amazing product, but considering the price, I will consider it as a success story for Pine 64.
Totally. Honestly, if you can get me to consider buying a phone, then it's pretty successful, at least in my book. So we'll see how this 2020 goes for him, but I tend to agree on this one. Yeah. All right, here we go. Ooh, okay, so I think he's mirroring some of my stuff. He does mention the AutoCAD thing, so yes. A major industry-specific software company, Adobe Autodesk or similar. So that Autodesk is the guys that do AutoCAD. Will offer a
AutoCAD
Linux
is what I
version
fed
of
you. You added it to your predictions.
Right. Will offer a Linux version of a flagship software product. All right, so Eric, I'm going to put you on the chopping block with me. That means that if I get one right, you get one right. We're going to share this one. Mod fed me the AutoCAD thing, so we're definitely going to high five on that one. And
we need to leave this one in the show notes to reference back to.
Absolutely. Or you could just stick him up in the innards. That way he's going to be in with us with the predictions. That'll be the easy way. And then he's got Microsoft will offer Office 365 for Linux. All right, so here's the thing. Do you mean that as a native Microsoft product? Or do you mean that like a web version will be fully functional or something on? I think that's what he means. He means the native version, right?
Yeah, he has to mean a native version because you can already use the web version on Linux, right?
Yeah. Because you could just go to Office365.com and use whatever, same as you would on Windows. There might be some restrictions, but yeah, okay, all right. We're gonna share this one too, and then all right. So this is crossover with Tony's. Linux pre-installed from a major hardware supplier will be available in big box stores available off the shelf. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. I think
really
we
hope
and
so.
Eric agree a lot. Yeah, definitely. Well, you hope so because you'll be right.
I hope so. But actually, I think Eric and I are both going down on this one. I hate to say.
Ooh, all right. And he says, "Oh, by the way, the year of the Linux desktop should be the year that you found Linux. I heard that response on another podcast, which the exact one evades me, but this is the best reply I've heard to that cliche comment." Moss?
Well, I heard it by Popey on one of the Jupiter shows, and I believe he was quoting Martin Wimpress, but it may have been somebody else he was quoting.
I'll take it. It's really a good sentiment, honestly. I mean, because Linux is a lot of different things to a lot of different people. And if it's your total solution, then yeah, man, I totally agree with that. You know, if 2016 was your year of the Linux desktop, then hey, man, it's true for you. That's awesome. And I got one last little bit. 2 shows ago, I guess that would be 323, I got an email from a Mr. Benjamin Moser, and he was asking about Orca Screen Reader and Dark Mode in Ubuntu Touch. Well, I have finally gone in. I spent about 5 minutes looking for each of those things, and Benjamin, I'm sorry to say, nope, neither. I did not find either. That does not mean that there's not a app in the store that I couldn't find, or they let you do kind of basically like a little virtual machine where you can run desktop apps inside of there. That does not include like maybe adding Orca to that or something. I don't know if those would work or not, but out of the box, just installed and updated, neither of those things are an option that I could find. And I consider myself pretty decent when it comes to digging up different options and things like that. I did, however, find a way to change a keyboard theme. You could change your keyboard to a dark mode keyboard, but the rest of the OS was just the way that it was. I didn't see a global dark theme of any kind. So anyway, I hope that helps. And yeah, finally glad to close the loop on that one. Very cool. So that'll be it for our feedback section. So we'll head on to check this out. All right. In this section, Moss, you got that article we were kind of alluding to a little bit earlier in the show.
Yep, there is an article, Chrome Unboxed. Is Safari moving to Chromium bandwagon? And apparently there is a tweet from other Massiege, whatever, who is on the Safari team. He says, this is completely fake, no such plan. The supposed email address isn't anyone on the Safari/WebKit teams. There is no ITP code in Chromium that could be enabled, and the screenshot itself is not a real Safari design.
No, it's not even 2020 and my prediction is wrong. Fine. I'm gonna work for half points and then just be like everything but Safari is now my prediction. All right, so next up, Tony Hughes, what you got?
Okay, well, this is more about an event. For those who don't know, Hacker Public Radio, for the last 7-8 years, have run a marathon live chat in their Mumble server. So if you go to the HPR page, which there's a link in the show notes, which is going to be too late for everyone to get there. But if you go
Not
to the
HPR,
if you're listening now and you know about it, HPR from I think it's 10 a.m. UK time through to midday UK time. It's 26 hours from 10 a.m. New Year's Eve till noon New Year's Day. If there's anyone still on the Mumble after the official show closes, you can just stay as long as you want and continue to have geeky chat. But yeah, it's usually a good idea.
So if Leo jumps on the edit really fast and gets us out early Tuesday, then our first batch of listeners will be able to participate in this.
Yeah,
I am on vacation, but I'm not making any promises.
Get it out
Jump
Monday
on at
night
noon or something.
Yeah.
Talk to all the other podcasters that like to join.
Yeah. So I'll be around at various times, and fair few other people will be. So maybe meet you in the HPR Mumble server.
Hopefully, I'll
Cool.
be on and off most of the day.
Cool.
All right, and one more thing, Joe. Quick summary.
Well, we already went over that. The Rambler will drop the Nginx criminal case. I just wanted to make sure that article made it into the show notes. And from what I can see, it was just something that the former CEO said that shot down Rambler's main argument. So,
However, they are pursuing a civil case.
No. That was for the civil case. But the case looks dead after a former Rambler CEO shot down Rambler's main argument over the weekend. And that's
the criminal case that's dead. They say they're still going to pursue the civil case in that article.
okay.
All right, read the article. Well, that'll do it for Check This Out. And last thing we got, last two things, is next episode will be January 12th, 2 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. UTC. And I guess it's kind of weird saying this now because you're already listening to it, but you should have received this on January 1st. So this is going to be our New Year's episode. So I hope your holidays were amazing. I hope your new year is going to be awesome. And we'll see you for another, 25, 26 shows this year? Yeah, cool. And then while it... never mind. That's old. That's old news. That was pretty much it. So, very cool. So before we get the heck out of here, Joe, where can we find more of you?
Well, you can catch me on a couple other podcasts. I'm on the Linux Link Tech Show, which you can find at www.tllts.org. I'm on the Linux Lugcast, which is at linuxlugcast.com. You can find me on MeWe, or you can send me an email, jb@mintcast.org.
Did we lose Leo?
Nope. And Bo is not here this time around, but you can find him at the undercastnetwork.com. What about you, Moss?
Well, you can find me at Triad Bardic College, at Peaceful Hippo, on MeWe. I've got my music on Bandcamp and my YouTube channel, or Robert Warren's YouTube channel. I will have new videos next month, and I will not be here next episode. You can email me at moss@mintcast.org or at distrohoppersdigest@gmail.com, and you can donate to me at Sponsus.
And Tony Hughes, more you.
Yeah, you can find me at Hacker Public Radio. I'm host ID 338, and you'll get a list of all the shows I've recorded at HPR there. I do an occasional blog at tony-hughes.blogspot.com. I'm on Twitter, TonyH1212. I'm on distrohoppersdigest@gmail.com and th@mintcast.org.
And Tony Watts, more you.
You can email me at tw@mintcast.org. You can check out my musical stuff by searching Echoes of Savages on YouTube or really anything. And hang out in the MeWe group as well.
And Josh isn't here this episode. He should be back soonish. You can find him at josh@mintcast.org, josh@edgeblocks.org, and at all_about_code on Twitter. And Ollie, how about you?
Hi, you can get me at olsey.tk, where I blog occasionally. I'm trying to get back into it. And at Olsey on Twitter, and occasionally on stream on Twitch at Olsey.
Man, blogging is hard. That's so much effort. That's so much effort. And me, you can get me at leochavez.org and at leochavez on Twitter, and you can get your 5-minute news digest at Full Circle Weekly News. But before we leave, we want to make sure to acknowledge some of the people who make mintCast possible. Josh for all his overtime and extra work while he's been away on the website. Bytemark Hosting for hosting mintcast.org and our Mumble server. Archive.org for hosting all of our audio files. And before any of that goes on, Archive.org and Audacity. If you guys have $5 extra burning a hole in your pocket and you need to give that to somebody, give it to one of those two groups. Those guys really, really make this show possible. If we didn't have those two things, it would be such a different show. But it's not, because we have these things. So if you got a $5, throw it their way. And lastly, the Linux Mint development team for the fine distro we love to talk about. Thanks, Clem.
Thanks, Clem.
Thanks, Clem. Throw them a $5 too.
Yeah, throw them a $5 as well. You got 2 $5s. Throw one to the Linux Mint group and throw one to archive.org. That'd be fantastic. And that's it, folks.
2 hours 35.
I thought this was going to be a short show.
That all?
There
No
was a short
chance.
show.
Yeah. It's about average length, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not too bad. Honestly, I think
All right.
we're gonna finally pull up a whole hour on the second half, though.
Stopping my recording.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think we need to. Don't we still need to redo our ends?
Do we? I don't know. I like Rob back there. He's fine. It's fine. If
Okay.
y'all want to do it, how do we? Ooh, wait.
Well, the
but
only
hold
problem
on.
I have with it is his last words are mintcast, and you can't hear that over the music.
Nah,
The
it'll be
music
all right.
comes up over him and drowns him out at the end.
Okay,
Oh,
all
don't
right.
worry about it.
Let me just throw. Yeah, I mean, it's cast, but let me throw this out there. What if we just get Rob to re-record it and it doesn't have music on it?
Ooh.
Well, we've tried to get Rob to give someone else admin status in the chat room.
No, we just haven't harped on him any because I haven't pursued it at all.
Right. We got to get one of us on there at the same time.
Yeah. What? Okay, so we could totally do the Rob thing, or we could totally do like an everybody thing where, like
We had discussed
each
that before.
take a little bit. I don't know. I don't actually remember. It was probably months ago, so who knows? Yeah, I don't know. Let's think on this for 2020. What do we want to do for the outro?
Sounds good. I think we were wanting to do something different at some point. And
Well, I like having
We're
Rob
not-
there, but again, I don't hear. He says, "Thank you for listening to," just can't hear it over the music.
Well, it's
They
been
know who we're talking about.
it's been a year and a half now. So, a
Yeah.
little over a year now.
All right, move over, Rob. You're done.
I like the idea of I like the idea of splitting it up, Leo, like you said, and have different members of the crew take different parts. I think that's good.
Ooh. Oh, you know what else we could do? If we could all record, we could each record the outro and we'll just swap them out. That could be a
Oh,
thing
that's
as well.
interesting.
Oh, do a different one
maybe.
each time.
Yeah.
Oh, we just need somebody
Rotate
to
it.
write the script for that.
Yeah, well, yeah, for sure. I think
Deal.
I'll just grab I'll just grab what Rob said, take that, and we can modify it if we need.
Yeah, I can read it, but someone else will have to do the audio work to get the music in.
Oh yeah, no, that'd be pretty easy. I have the whole song. I found it again somewhere on the internet in high quality. So I'll
And
be able to do it.
sometime in the next 12 months, we might want to talk about changing the music.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah,
see,
don't
As
forget it's
long,
going to have
as,
to be
long as it
Creative
becomes
Commons.
more metal.
More metal.
Listen.
Yes.
Well,
More
I am
metal.
less
Listen.
metal myself, but
We'll just have 20 watts do it.
sure.
look, all I'm saying
Shadowy
is, all I'm-
metal.
ooh,
Yes, we shall
they tried to
melt.
kill the metal.
I'm glad you got that reference, Joe.
Yeah. So, this is something that I totally talked about, like the second show. So,
Yeah.
just wanted to remind you guys.
That's
that,
one of those things.
All right, boys and girls, I'm
We've had
out.
listeners say they're.
See you,
Hey.
Oliver. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for coming.
Thanks for having
My
us on.
file is uploaded.
Oh, sorry. Thanks, Oliver.
Could you, Leo, ping us a link for the share to upload this, and I'll
I've
probably pop it on
done.
tomorrow.
I've sent you a link and to share the audio folder, so you should have it emailed to you.
Yeah. Cool.
Oh, cool. I'll have a look now.
Well, mine's there, haha.
Well, I'm totally cool. I'm totally cool with changing the theme. Yeah, because it's been a year and a half. Well, not quite, but it's been over a year.
Yeah, it's been a year and a quarter, roughly. Yeah.
And
Okay,
it was not always this theme. So it has been changed in the past. That was my argument a
It
year
has,
ago.
yes, it has.
So you know, I've been in favor for a year and 2 months.
I would like to thank everyone for putting up with me this long.
Thanks for coming around, Moss. You make the show 20 minutes longer. I appreciate that.
Well,
it
had to be, you know.
Ross, that is recorded for perpetuality because I've still got the mumble recording going.
Awesome.
So
Please wrap,
that will be
Thank
a definite sneak in at some stage in the show.
Tony, I'm going to need you to go ahead and upload all those next to all your other ones as well, just in case. You know, you never know. I mean,
You might
Could
want to
be
use a
interesting.
little bit.
Yeah. No guarantees, no promises, but it will probably definitely be in there.
Probably, definitely.
Yeah, my thing should be uploaded in about 8 minutes. So, right.
Okay.
Catch you in
Fantastic.
2020, guys.
All
Okay.
right.
Cheers, Oliver. Thanks for joining us.
Later.
Thank you.
Bye, Oliver.
Right, talking about mumble, I shall stop the recording now.
All right. Okay. Now say all your stuff. Don't say all your stuff. We're still on YouTube. Ha! We've been on there the whole time. Surprise!
Guys, my audio is uploading. I've got to run. Happy New Year,
Heck, I
everybody.
haven't even checked the chat room to see if anyone said anything.
There's
you
a
haven't
little
looked at
bit.
the
We had-
IRC?
Yeah. Yusef,
Nope.
Mitchell, and Alan were in the IRC. Yeah, true.
MIB
In,
said,
in
is there
YouTube,
a
though.
live show? Tony Hughes said, yeah, here's the live stream, and that's the last comment.
And then
And
Bill
only
Bingo.
9 people were on the live stream this time.
Wow.
Yeah, that's all right.
It's a holiday season. You'll have that.
Popey was there.
Yeah, there you
that's
go.
important.
Oh, cool. I didn't even notice that.
Mhm.
Guys, I got to run. Audio in 7 minutes. Happy New Year, everybody.
Okay.
Happy New Year.
Leo, do you really want the mumble recording?
Yeah, throw it up there. We got the room, and then I'll just delete them after we're done.
Okay.
I always want the mumble, Tony. Always. There's always gems in there. I've got this big fat hard drive. That's all that's on there. It's just like mintCast stuff. So
Alan's
if
asking
you-
for you, Tony. On
if you're ever in
YouTube.
doubt.
Oh, right. I'll have to go back in because I've just closed it down.
I told him you're coming, Alan.
Right. Okay.
Great to have Popey listening, all I can say.
Yeah, for sure. Well, he's probably still listening, honestly.
And I updated the announcement for next show, and I'm shutting down IRC.
Ask him
For
on the
me.
show sometime as a guest host.
Well, we talked about that, and he said he was gung ho about it. So all we got to do is,
Find a show?
we just got to figure out what the topic's going to be, and invite him on, and schedule a
yeah.
time, and do all that.
Have we asked him what a topic he would like to jump on the show about?
No, but Alan, if you're listening, what do you want to talk about?
Throw us some ideas, Alan.
I'll just give you the floor. I'll let you talk about whatever you want to talk about.
Well, I think the show is as edited as it needs to be script-wise. We're at 11 pages, which is good. Oh, I guess I need to take out some stuff here at the beginning.
All right, then we'll have Alan Pope come on and tell us how to make the perfect scrambled egg.
Tell us what to do with our old T400s.
No, I've already got good ideas for that. But I'll take that too. I'll take suggestions.
We'll drag him on to the next pie show.
I've just said in the chat on the YouTube, he should come on while they're still on vacation from the Ubuntu
Oh
podcast.
yeah, for sure, right? It's like, hey, I know you're bored of podcasting right now, so come on another podcast.
He said we could talk about ThinkPads.
Yes.
That's what I said.
ThinkPads are awesome.
I love my ThinkPad. I can't get enough of it. I know the next thing I'm gonna get, ThinkPad's gonna be on top of the list for sure.
Yeah, I've still got a couple myself.
Ooh,
I've
anytime in
not
January.
flashed one up.
Well, my wife still has one, and I still have one for sale, but I think it's sold to one of our listeners. He said it might take him a month or two to get some money in his budget, but he said consider it sold.
Alan says he'll come on the show anytime in January.
All
That's
right,
the
8
11th
p.m.
or the 25th.
No, 12th or 26th.
Well, I won't be here the 12th.
12th or 12th or
Yeah,
26th. You're right.
Boss is off on the 12th.
Yeah, you got to get
That's
Popey
perfect.
on to keep the show 20 minutes longer.
Yeah, that's it.
We'll have
So-
him on the show for the 12th.
Ah, that's
But
coming
we still
up.
got to pick a topic
Ah.
for the 12th. And we got to make sure that he gets the topic so that he can do some research if he needs to.
Okay.
Thought the topic was ThinkPads.
Well, he made the mistake of joining the Telegram, so yeah, I'll keep tabs on him now.
And Tony, can you get him the information on for next Saturday so that we can do some planning?
Yeah, I'll ping him on Telegram.
All right. Well, guys, I'm going to go over and tear down the live stream. So, yeah, for sure. Thanks, everybody, for coming, if you're still listening. Yeah.
I'm still here. I'm going real soon. I'm pretty sure I'm done with editing the show notes. Of course, you're always welcome to edit it further. Well, I'm not done with editing the show notes, but I'm almost done. Okay, see you guys